Welcome, friends, to Tanked Up, the podcast, all about video games and beer. I'm one of your hosts, Ben, here with Lucy.
Hello.
And Aadil.
Hey!
It is episode 455, and it's our end-of-year blowout, our end-of-year show, where usually we run down a list of games that we've enjoyed, a top 10 as such, a top pick of games from the year. We're going to do something a little bit different this year and just talk about some games we've enjoyed. They're not in order. We're not going to roll down from 10 to 1. We're just going to talk about things we've enjoyed, talk about games we've played, things we want to bring up again, any news that has been big that we wanted to say a final sort of thing on at all. But we will, as we always do, start with some beers. Lucy, why don't you kick us off this evening? What are you drinking?
Drinking one of my favourite breweries of this year and probably the last few years. I'm drinking a double IPA called Kin from Beak.
Nice.
I'll quickly read what's on here. Brewed with our pals at Factory Brewing just north of Helsinki in Finland. This Haze Fest. Oh, have we had this descriptor, Haze Fest?
I don't think so.
No, that's a new one. This Haze Fest of a double IPA is a riff on our collab brewed there. Absolutely packed with Nectaron, Motueka, Nelson, and Citra, giving an explosion of fuzzy stone fruits, passion fruit, and bright citrus zest.
Nice.
Yep, 8%. Factory Brewing is very small on the back there. Yeah, I mean, I love Beak. They put out a lot of beers, and they're all... I don't know the difference between them. Maybe there's a difference in hops, maybe there isn't, but they all taste very good, so...
I think we said this the last time one of us had a big beer, didn't we? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I could tell you what it's like before I even open the can. So,
So you don't need to come to Flavour Text. Please refer to episodes blah, 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 for the last year, where we've had several Beak. Beak's probably one of the most featured breweries this year, I would imagine.
Essentially, yeah.
Yeah.
When I have drank, it's Beak have featured a lot. So sure.
I've had a few from them as well, I think so. Nice. Aadil, what are you going to drink first?
I've got Track. It's a collab from Track and Brewery du Bac, Canada. It's Forms Relation.
Nice.
Hey.
Relation between plain and solid figure. A figure by... Oh, and nope, they have a printing error. There's just a missing letter. Figure by Leyland Locke to demonstrate how a plane cutting through a cone can create different conic sections, 1909. Obviously, I had to get it because Brewery du Bac, Canada, as well as, well, it's just maths, isn't it?
Yeah, it's too much.
I've been marking maths all day.
It's too much.
I should tell you, it is a 8% dipper.
Nice.
Doubling up on the dippers.
Quipper?
Maybe.
Or are we going to have a hexa?
Maybe we'll triple up on the dippers as well.
Would that be a tri-dipper? A tri-dipper? Or would that just be a hexa? Hexpa. I think it's a tri-dipper. I think you have to make the difference between...
It'd be a dipper cubed.
A hexa?
Yes,
hexpa?
dipper cubed.
It's not cubed, though. They're not multiplied. That'd be...
They are in
I guess they are.
You drink 3 8% dippers in a row and your alcohol is
multiplied?
Yes.
Exponentially.
You're in your own game version of the altars.
You're stuck in a cube.
Look at that, I made a video game reference that's not dated.
I don't know what that game is. Is it based on a TV show or something?
No, it's like Moon, right? Where there's a bunch of... not like Moon, but a similar concept where you have one character who is sort of on an expedition, and if they die, a new clone of them is produced. But I think in the altars, they all appear at once, kind of thing.
Yes, I was going to say it.
So there's like,
and this
15,
is a video
69.
game?
Yeah.
Yeah, it came out this year. It
Didn't
made
you
some lists.
Play it,
some people,
Ben.
especially
I played the demo.
lists.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, bit of base building, bit of exploration. I can't remember what turned me off from not playing the full game. Time, probably, not having any at the moment that they're released.
Which will be a theme of this podcast. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. But to round out the trifecta of dippers, I am going to drink a beer from Adroit Theory, one of my favourite breweries from over in the States. I was at the bottle shop the other day, and they had a few in from them. So I'm like, yes, I will have one of these. And I picked the dipper, but they call it an Imperial India Pale Ale. It is only 8.2%, but it is number 9.
Number 9.
Number 9.
Number
And
9.
What are numbers here today?
I don't know how to say this word, but Sardurka edition. And I don't know what that is, but it does say in the bottom, Ghost Sardurka, just in the corner. So maybe it's the...
I think that's a sound in
artist
Street
or
Fighter.
the...
Hadouken!
It absolutely could be. They give almost no flavour text. However, they do give a little bit that pairs it with food, cheese, a cigar, and some music. So their flavour text is some pairings on it. The food is grilled octopus, fish sauce, sesame and bonito. The cheese is Montgomery's cheddar. The cigar is La Flor Dominica La Nu. And the music is Never Bloom by Make Them Suffer. Not a band I've heard of before, but I imagine they are metal.
They lost me when we were talking about cigars and music.
Yeah, cigar's an interesting one. I don't think I've ever seen a cigar pairing with on a beer before.
No. I'm not in that realm of wealth. Let's just say.
Fair. We'll roll back round then, Lucy, to Kin, the first dipper of the evening.
Yeah. Oh, big solid block of yellow. Probably a bit darker on camera than it is in real life, but it probably looks a bit more muddy on camera. But yeah, it is just a block of juicy looking pulp.
Nice.
Yeah, nice and smooth. Took it out of the fridge probably about half an hour ago, so it's had some time to warm up. Yeah, getting those stone fruits, getting like a bit of peach that I'm tasting. Yeah, a bit of peach. Bit of passion fruit, bit of guava maybe as well. Leaning into that tropicalness as well. Hasn't got much carbonation. It's just very smooth. Just very, as soon as it hits your palate, it's just like very velvety.
Nice.
Slight bit of bitterness, but I think it does a good job of towing the line between not too sweet, not too bitter. Both of those like profiles are kind of like mellow. And I think it's more the fruitiness that is coming out rather than just like a sweetness. Yeah, it's good. This will be gone very shortly.
Nice.
Yeah, it's not really much more to say. It's a Beak beer.
Yeah,
if you
fair.
ever had one, their level of consistency and quality across the board is yeah, it's consistent. So
Perfect.
yeah, what were the hops again? I think it was Nectaron, Citra, Motorworker. So yeah, nothing really surprising, nothing like really left field. It's just, yes, it's a haze fest, let's say. Because what did we used to call them? Like a fruit bomb,
Juice bomb.
Juice bomb, we
yeah,
often
juice
say?
juice bomb. Yeah, it's like that. It's like a say 2018 juice bomb, but the like toned down and a bit more mature. Where it's like
refined?
Yeah, refined. Where it's like, okay, we're not gonna just put all the hops in here, so it's like, got that like that very zesty hoppy bitterness that is just like all very not even overwhelming, but it's just in your face. And yes, we're gonna pack all the fruit in here, so it's like got that to balance that like very in your face hoppy bitterness. We're going to balance it with that sweetness by giving you that fruit bomb, but this is just a bit more dialed in and refined and toned down.
Nice.
And yeah, it's great. Yep, very good.
Brilliant. Aadil, we'll come then to the track collaboration. Have you had anything from the other brewery before?
No, I haven't. They're I did a quick Google flu. They're based in Gatineau, and over in Alberta, we don't often get, except for a couple of the bigger names, we don't get a lot of the small beers from Quebec.
Mhm.
But it is solid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can kind of see light coming through it from my end. Poured with, well, you can see how long it's like a fingerish of head that quickly dissipated. Ooh, I got mango, maybe a touch of passion fruit, then a lovely bitter pininess right off the nose. That's an excellent smelling beer. A little sweet, but mostly that like slightly dank. There's like, I don't know if you ever like, if you take a pine needle and take a bite of it, that like initial taste of that bitterness, but like
Mm.
just a hint of that as an undertone, and like obviously way less intense, but like what, it's not like a full pine. It's not like full pine profile, if that was a thing. It's just that like a little bit of that note sitting underneath the
Sprucey,
tropical. Yeah, sprucey.
nettly, yeah. Mm.
It does remind me of Quebec. Oh, that's smooth.
Well, that's good. I mean, a beer has
Mm.
transported you there this winter.
Yeah, that's nice.
I will say it does taste like an 8%, and I kind of don't mind that. Like it's got that slight burn and alcoholic feel on the finish. So you get those tropical notes immediately interweaved with sort of the sprucey hoppy bitterness. Like it's not, they're not taking turns. They're just they stay together. And then as the sweet, fruity, tropical starts to fade, you have this same tenor of like nice quality hoppy, slightly piney bitterness, sprucey. And then you're like, oh wow, yeah, that's alcohol sweetness. And it works really well just because of that handoff. So like you're not really left at any point in your palate without a type of sweet. It just goes from that fruit sweet. You have the moment of, oh, the fruit's going away. Like it's definitely dipping below the like base layer of pininess, and then you're like, oh yeah, there's still some sweet, and I'm not gonna make a mistake and drink this too fast. Like the last couple dippos I've had, where it's like, this is kind of dangerous. It's not 8%. It is 8%. Shit, it tastes like 5. And that's, again, that's not a knock on either approaches. It's kind of refreshing to taste a heavier beer, a bigger dippa as a dippa, instead of, wait, this isn't just an IPA. I think one of those in the past couple of months even tasted sort of almost like just a pale ale. Like it didn't, it wasn't that boisterous, and it was 8%. It's like, this is so dangerous. I like the boisterousness, and I like how hop forward it is. This is, yeah, it's really good.
Good, nice, sounds good. To round us out, mine's a bit lighter than yours. It's more sort of squash than juice that sort of both of you had, and it's a really light nose on it as well. It's actually sort of I'm getting a lot of orange, a little bit of citrus kind of in this. And I did have a quick look online to see if I could find some flavor text, and did. And this actually is a rebrew of what they call the 9 series. But this version, they say, is to celebrate the announcement of June Part 3. We're resurrecting our 6-part 9 series, or IX, featuring our take on the Dune universe. First up is the Sardaukar edition, which all Dune fans know, with the elite military force of the Padishah Emperor of the Korean Empire. Yeah, that's some nerd stuff, as their flavor text says. Absolutely. But it's got Citra and Mosaic in it. So there we go. That's what I was actually looking for.
Is this Dune, like the book?
Frank Herbert's
Okay.
Dune?
Frank
Yes.
Herbert's
Yeah,
Dune.
yeah. I thought he was talking about the month of June, and I was like, well, okay. And I was like, oh no,
Celebrate the month of
Timothy
June.
Chalamet's Dune, yeah, with the sandworms and the science fiction that I have no interest in. Yeah, cool.
God God damn. This bubbled, this fizzed massively. I don't know if you saw sort of when I first put my nose in the glass, that the whole glass was head down to maybe about here, and it's kind of just settled up a little bit.
Wow.
But the nose is really light. That flavour's massive. Absolutely massive.
Okay.
And it's a little sweet. Definitely a bit of orange in there. Maybe a bit of lemon as well, kind of cutting through. But a really strong sort of flavour of that. But it's super juicy as well. And there's maybe some like big mango backing it up just in the background. So it's nice and tropical. It's got those citrus fruits in it. Not much in the way of bitterness at all. There's no kind of finish in it. It just allows that sweetness to sort of dissipate and those sort of fruity flavours to stick around. And it's maybe, as I said, Imperial IPA, but it's maybe like more like a New England or something like that, where it's that softer sort of flavour. There might be, like a bit of mango in there, a bit of stone fruit, maybe the citrus and a little bit of orange kind of cutting through as well. But this is like a juice, even though it looks like a, not quite like it. It is a big juice bomb. And this is why I love this brewery, because everything seems so understated, and then you're just smashed in the face with flavour, and a good combination of flavours as well. But
I haven't had a beer from them in ages.
Yeah, I haven't seen them for ages either.
They're good, yeah. Them and Equilibrium. I think they're in New York State somewhere.
Yes. And I know you see, like Other Half have kind of become one of the bigger names over in the UK, haven't they, for sort of US brewed beers. You do see them a little bit more over here. But I mean, the US is full of excellent brewers, as is Canada, sort of North America. Just plethora of good breweries and good produce to use over there.
Shame I'll never go there, because I may not come back.
Mate, I think you'll be sent back straight away. You'll get off the plane, get to the airport,
if I'm lucky,
they're sending you straight back. Like,
if I'm lucky.
You phone us from the next episode's in El Salvador. It's just like, what's going on behind you over there? It's just like, it's all right. It's just a bunch of American people that have been ghosted.
At least it'll be warm there.
maybe.
Yeah.
Good. Well,
there are worse places to be sent.
Tanked up
like
fashion.
Siberia.
Well, yes, that's true. That's true. Just don't go to Russia and then get ghosted somewhere. We've kicked straight into politics, so why don't we kick into games instead and talk about some video games? And the sort of one of the games I wanted to mention first was Assassin's Creed Shadows. And I actually don't want to talk about Assassin's Creed Shadows as such. It's a game I've talked about, episodes ago, reviewed it sort of on the podcast back whenever it released, back towards the summer. Well, actually, it was all early than that. Might have even been sort of more towards the spring, wasn't it? This is the dual protagonist one, right? Naue and Yasuke, if I'm remembering that correctly. One's sort of a ninja and one is a samurai. However, a couple of days ago, or last week, I started playing Assassin's Creed Mirage, which is a game from a couple of years ago. It's just released on PlayStation Plus, and it is the Baghdad set game. It is going back to the kind of Assassin's Creed roots a little bit. It's coming away from that more action-orientated, and it wants you to do a bit more stealth rather than being able to kind of, as Yasuke in Shadows, you just bolt fucking in, pull your katana out, and just absolutely go to town, which is fun. And it's, Assassin's Creed seems to be going much more, especially with things like Valhalla and Odyssey, going much more in that action-orientated sort of fighting game. Whereas Mirage dials it back a little bit. And the thing I really liked about Mirage is that it kind of gets into it straight away, and you just have the opportunity to move around the environment, to sort of stealth. It's got a bit of a prologue where you aren't part of the assassins, where you're sort of leading up to kind of meeting them and stuff. But you're doing stuff sort of straight away. And one of the issues I had with Shadows was that it took so long to feel like you were getting into it. And it's, the difficulty of dual protagonists and having to tell a bit of a story and another bit of a story and then intertwine them and all this sort of stuff. Mirage with Basim just goes straight into it, and I really enjoyed just the opportunity to go, cool, I'm experiencing the story. No, now I've met the assassins. Now I'm doing this. Now I'm back in Baghdad. Now I'm moving through the environment, and I'm actually, fully into the game within a couple of hours, rather than Shadows, which felt longer. It felt like I was, 4 or 5 hours in before I really kind of got a hold of it and had that free roam and was able to move around and really experience it as a game. And it's sort of just, I don't know, the overblown nature of modern games now, where you've got to try and make something that's 80 hours. Whereas Mirage, I think, if you just play the main story, is like 15, 16 hours, something like that.
Oh, wow. A game that you could play.
Yeah, because before that game out, wasn't it essentially Ubisoft's like mea culpa of just saying like we know these games have become bloated and too much.
Yep.
And yes, there is an audience who want that, but also
But it's not most
there is
people.
also, I don't know what the numbers are, but there is certainly a case where it's like, okay, also a lot of people will want something that's a bit more streamlined, a bit more lean, a bit more like old Assassin's Creed. Yes, finish it in 10 to 15 hours or whatever. So it's interesting how they, or at least to my recollection, how they initially marketed Mirage, where it's like, this is the slim down and back to basics Assassin's Creed.
Yep.
We'll still have the other ones eventually when, the 700 dev teams around the world have finished making it, but in the meantime, enjoy for people who have limited time.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Yeah.
I know it released at a lower price point when it first came out. Rather than it being probably Shadows was probably a £60 game. This maybe was 40, something like that, perhaps 45, perhaps. But it's interesting because Shadows, like it's night and day. There's a marked difference in graphic fidelity and stuff. Mirage looks much more like Origins did, the Egypt-based one from 6-8 years ago. Now that must have come out, if not more. So it looks a lot more like that, if not actually a little bit worse than that, or at least what my memory recollects Origins looking like.
What's that saying that we say, like, we want shorter games with uglier graphics made by
Talented people who care about story and
visuals. And them not having to crunch. But as I say, like, isn't Assassin's Creed Shadows like the best-selling
I would think so.
Creed or
I
something?
think so.
I don't know if that's just sheer volume of how. I don't know how. I don't know if the market is still growing. Like, there are still more gamers coming into the market, or if it is just people glommed onto it despite the controversy of having a character who's a woman and a character who's black.
This was actually going to be one of my sort of topics.
Launch in. I'm finished with Assassin's Creed. Let's go.
Turns out, video gaming as an industry is shrinking. We're still making giant boatloads of profits, but the problem is, young people don't play video games. And more importantly, I wish I had meant to grab the article, like the actual study, but there's plenty of articles out there that refer to it. But video gaming got so mainstream. If you ask a Gen Z or a Gen Alpha, they play games, but video gaming as an identity doesn't work.
Right.
And because they grew up with platform live services, they identify as like a Fortnite player.
Yes.
But not a gamer.
No, I will make sure my nephew grows up a gamer, because that is literally my only purpose of being an aunt, to make sure that the cycle is not broken and he is a nerd.
Oh, you could be a nerd. You could just be a Fortnite nerd.
No,
but yeah, this is
we dabbled in Roblox and that has been deleted now. So we're back onto the Mario Wonders and stuff like that. So and the Pikmins, So we're
nice.
okay.
Yeah.
We have reestablished equilibrium. So
good.
yes. So
yeah. So So
The
one of
case
the
still studies the data and the stats still study. I will just be the anomaly.
The outlier.
We shall be. Mm-hmm.
one of the studies has it as almost, depending on how you ask the question, almost 90% of Gen Z will self-describe as gamers.
Wow.
But they spending more than 12 hours a week, but mostly on mobile.
Oh.
Doing what?
And
Fortnite, is that like
and then the other
Fortnite?
study I was looking at that was referred to on Deconstructor Fun is that Gen Z might be the biggest spenders, but they want creators, social systems, and seamless cross-platform play on a stable platform. And that's the thing, is they don't, like I said, this multiple studies have shown that there's like a thing they want to sink their time into. It's not about multiple types of experiences, and it's like, so I mean, this is why like Fortnite was a big deal and is still a big deal, and the fact that Apple's slowly opening up their ecosystem thanks to the EU means that Fortnite will probably grow, ? But like between the younger kids being turned into child labor by the CEO of Roblox. I don't know if you've seen those stories.
It's very good. People make games video on Roblox.
And Fortnite and a lot of smaller mobile platforms. But the thing is, it's when I've played mobile games, they've been a brief dopamine surge for a while. And even if I played the game for a while, there were other games. But they're not even like PlayStation players, or it's not PlayStation versus Xbox. This is like, I played this game. Oh, well, I played this game. I play it on all my devices. Like it's like the
I'm assuming they're
tribalism,
not
if you forget the
playing Candy Crush. It's more
no, they're
like Fortnite and whatever
Roblox
these
and
Chinese and games that are big in China and
like the Genshin
Asia
Impacts
and
stuff.
that's the one. Stuff
Yeah,
like
Genshin
that I've
Impact
never even
and-
heard of. Yeah, that they
And the two ones that came after that, one of them is a train in space. The other one's an elevator or something. I can't remember.
But this is why.
It's Endless Zone Zero.
Yes,
Yes.
that sounds.
Damn it!
No. But
I
that's
always
why
think it's
everyone's still trying to, despite what the odds are, and everyone's looking at that data and say we need to be the next Genshin Impact or something.
Yeah.
So they will throw money at it and bury studios after it doesn't work, just in anticipation of we want to be the next Fortnite. But how is it any different to like World of Warcraft and RuneScape and Ultima Online back in the day?
So the big thing is, to be honest, it's lobbies. So of this study, this is was a study that GitNux put out. So 90% of Gen Z versus 59%. That's GIT and UX. So they spend 88% of them play on mobile devices, use it for stress, relaxing, and staying connected to others. 50% of Gen Z gamers, so that's 45% of Gen Z, if the math works out, right? Use gaming to hang out with their friends without playing the game itself, e.g. in lobbies. And this is where the collapse of third spaces like the mall and growing up going to the park has turned us into fucking game lobbies instead of mall hallways, right? This is the same thing, except their parents won't get mad at them or tell them they can't go out to the place that doesn't exist anymore.
Is this what sort of Discord and places kind of are also? They are those kind of like third spaces for people to congregate and whether you're kind of, I'm playing this, you're playing that, someone else is playing something else, you can all be in a room and chat whilst you're all doing your individual kind of things.
Yeah, so the average Gen Z, according to this study, spends $82 per year on in-game currencies. They have purchased battle passes or season passes. 71%
That's more than I've spent in a lifetime
per year. Yeah, I know, right?
Like literally.
71%
I've never bought a skin.
Watch game-related videos and streams, and so if you remember, I said the study said 12 hours and 10 minutes per week playing video games. I'd hate someone to. Well, actually, that's not what the study said. an average of 6 hours a week of watching gaming content online.
Okay.
So this is like Let's Plays, Twitches, blah blah blah. So like this is, but like again, this will probably be on your platform, your gaming not your game platform, rather your gaming platform. So it'd be like, oh, I played this game. I'll watch a shit ton of people playing it for
Yeah.
half as long as I play it myself.
Whereas I'm,
Right?
I might be 12 to 15 hours of gaming a week.
Yeah,
But
so,
I'm
so you
watching,
play the
like-
same as them, but you don't have the 6 hours to
No, I've
watch
got like
some other
30.
person
I've got
play.
30 minutes maybe of watching
Yeah.
YouTube. Not that. That's not just gaming.
Yeah.
That's just 30 minutes of YouTube a week, probably.
But interestingly, esports is part of this whole ecosystem,
Okay.
which is one of the reasons why esports is being pushed, because this younger generation will. The theory is this younger generation at some point will have money to spend on things, which I think that's the fundamental flaw of the theory of trying to court
Absolutely.
esports, so that you have something for these grown adults with real jobs to pay you instead of whatever life needs.
Well, when the Saudis own all of it, we might as well
Right.
just roll around in our petrol cars burning fuel because we're paying them one way, aren't we? So,
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how that works.
Diesel for me, but yeah.
oh yeah, fine, same place, comes from the same place.
Yeah, and I mean, you reading this it isn't as apocalyptic as I thought, because it's just like we were the same. You know what I mean? It's
Oh,
just
yeah,
different. It's
Well, no more of them play games than when we were growing up at their age.
Yeah.
I know that
Sure.
some of them
Yeah,
are
yeah,
not young anymore, right? But the big thing is, what I think is interesting. So one, I thought it was interesting that they play that much and that they spend money and do it on their phone, which makes a lot of sense because
that's disgusting. Yeah. but-
well, it makes sense because you have a phone and you could probably convince your parents to buy you an upgraded iPhone to be cool at school and play Fortnite on it, and you might not be able to convince them to buy a PS5, right? But also,
I just want to play Balatro and Into the Breach on my phone, and even that's a bit too
right? Yeah,
yeah.
Into the
too
Breach, I
finicky
find
sometimes.
poking at it I've tried it a couple times and I miss poke, and I'm like, look, I
Damn it.
know I misclick when I use my mouse, but not this often, and I'm not angry when I make a mistake in this way. I think I'll just play it on my tablet because I'm an adult.
Oh
and
yeah,
have a
I
tablet
used to
and
play it
a
as a. I used to have a tablet. In fact, yes, it was Into the Breach that I played. Yeah, I only played that on tablet. I think actually, when it was free on like
I have it on
Netflix or
Steam,
something.
so I put it on my Windows
Yeah.
tablet, which is like my
Oh right, yeah,
work device, right?
yeah. On a tiny
Surface.
screen, Into the Breach wouldn't be great. Yeah.
No.
It was really annoying. I just want to know if I could put it on this. Also, if you look at my I don't know if you can see how bad my screen protector is, and I still haven't replaced it. That's probably why. Let's be honest, it's my fault. I should take this fake piece of glass off of the real piece of glass so we can touch the real piece of glass.
No.
That's all right, everyone. Touch glass.
Well, I shared an article a couple of days ago in the Discord that put the roughly the global revenue of gaming so far in 2025 at 197 billion, which is 7.5% higher than last year. That's dollars. 55% of that, $108 billion, was on mobile.
Yeah.
45 billion on console and 43 billion on PC. I mean, we're talking absolutely
so that's
insane
big for PC
numbers. But so and the difference in percentages was 7.5% up from the previous year total, 7.7% up in mobile, only 4.2% up in console, but 10.4% up on PC. So a much bigger jump on PC as well. So maybe there is a little bit more, like whilst mobile is, consistently growing with the, with the gaming revenue, and sure, some of that is a little bit skewed because over this last year, the cost of some games has risen as well as that base sort of standard. But PC jumping that little bit more must mean some people are, things like the Steam Deck are taking hold that little bit more, maybe with people who would be playing on mobile. So it's an interesting stat to sort of see how things are changing. And then I just found
definitely pushing for PC. Remember when Capcom were like PC who and everything was busted on PC?
Absolutely.
And now they're like, we don't care about console.
Capcom, Square Enix,
make sure it goes to PC.
Yeah, a load of those Japanese devs now releasing on PC, aren't they?
So I think part of it is that, like, since the Pandini, gaming has been. I mean, in the Pandini, everything they were minting money, right? But people didn't come back with the same wealth levels, obviously, right?
Sure.
No.
And so console sales basically all like didn't hit what would have been targeted in 2019, right? Like the growth of gaming industry is smaller. I think if you look at the acceleration of the curve, right, it's tapering out. So they're still growing, but not as much. And the big thing is like, guess what? Everyone has some computer of some sort in the West,
Yeah.
etc. Like especially Gen Zers, who like they've got their crappy Chromebook that they had to get for school, and
Yeah.
at some point they upgrade and they'll buy a PC, and they might not be able to buy a PC and a console. And I think that's honestly like we've got like a 5-year period of people not buying consoles and realizing that between that and the price of games on PC consistently being lower,
Mhm.
I'll buy a gaming laptop, and if I'm playing, I like a crappy gaming laptop that we have now. Will we'll play Elden Ring probably. What else do you want? That's a pretty game. It might not. It'll be at 1080p. That's the other thing. Is like shit. You know what makes a Steam Deck great is you realize that like you just don't watch. You just play everything at 1080p and
Yeah.
or less, right? And the thing is the PPI, the pixels per inch, on
Yeah.
that gorgeous OLED display are so concentrated you literally can't tell the difference. And shut up, internet
Yeah.
nerds. Where yeah, you can if you squint, blah blah blah. But like, I think most people who have gone to 4K on their TV at home or
Mhm.
1440p on their monitor have realized that 1080p is fine. And then
Yeah,
an affordable like ultra graphics, a machine that can play something at ultra graphics at 1080 is cheap. Well, is affordable.
Yeah,
Up until this RAM price garbage that I may or may
there's
not write about.
diminishing return. There's a diminishing returns. And I think it's a case of like if you've grown up playing on mobile, like as you say, a lot of Gen Z have, they're not with basically
Don't care
potato
about.
graphics that Fortnite is. They don't care
Yeah.
about fidelity and stuff like that. Sure, it looks nice, but do you need that in every game? Absolutely not. It's
Yeah.
about the gameplay experiences, and that's what it's always
Yeah.
been. Yeah, there's a select few who probably of our generation when graphics were
Well, they've
things
all
that changed and got better, exponentially better. Like we know now
FF7.
that it's just like, yeah, it's like that's just not the case now.
I
So
mean,
there's
I've
no
been
reason to
decrying.
lean into that. So
Sorry,
yeah, no, it's fine. Yeah,
I've
continue.
been decrying
I was going to say
the.
round out, and then we'll.
Yeah, I've been decrying the chasing after graphics for probably the entire like age of this podcast.
Absolutely,
But
yeah.
it now feels like people
I think
are
since
like,
PS3.
yeah, I think people are finally seeing it, and the industry like is being called out a bit. So like, there's been some interesting stuff. Like Larian has come out thanks to the RAM price stuff, and basically saying that they are rejigging their new game, which is Divinity,
Yeah.
the world sequel, but not directly plot sequel to Original Sin 2. And they're not aiming for 32 gigs of RAM as the baseline.
Okay.
They're saying they're rejigging things
8?
because people can't afford it, because of course now
16.
RAM's fucked. Everyone's fucked. AI is killing everything, including that you having to upgrade your PC. But now, like, it's so apparent that they're
After
changing
seeing that
gears.
trailer, I don't want to see anything they have to give me in like more than 420p.
Oh, I watched. Oh, yeah, I mean, I watched the trailer. I think it looked gorgeous, and I'm really curious about the world. It made me want to
Gorgeous is what you came away with.
Gorgeously gory.
like yeah, gorgeous.
I worry about your mental health.
I'm saying the art was compelling. I'm not saying my
The
dick got
imagery
hard aesthetically
was-
Yes.
for pure beauty.
Separate the
the
art from the
imagery
imagery.
alone. Okay, let's move on.
Lucy, we will move on. Lucy, what's something you want to highlight for them this year?
Despite everything crumbling around us, especially Microsoft, we still managed to get a few scraps from the table, and we got fabled. Not actually Fable,
Yeah.
but we got our fabled Tony Hawk 3+4.
Oh yes.
Yeah, which like that wasn't going to happen for a long time, but we got it. We can die happy. They can stop there. I like the third games, but like Tony Hawk 4 is my favorite of the series. Like I haven't actually got two Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 4 on the remake yet. I'm still playing through 3. Because I also love 3, obviously. I love them all. But 4 is that intersection of like we're just going full jackass on this with Tony Hawk with extra mechanics with the same great gameplay. And just like that little Venn diagram of early 2000s is just like my happy place.
Yeah.
So it's like I want to get through it, but it's like I also want to savor it. But yeah, it's thank God we got it. It was looking dicey for a while, but hallelujah, we got it.
Nice. No, good. I played 1 and 2 and enjoyed, that the remastered sort of version of it, with then the want of Skate to be a return back to what Skate was when it kind of came out as a counter to sort of Tony Hawk's and the success of the Tony Hawk series. We won't talk about Skate ever again. But I really would like to play 3 and 4 as well, and go back just to experience those levels again, just to experience that sort of element. It does make me wonder whether, again, to lean back into the last conversation, at what point does, not necessarily Microsoft, maybe that it's coming from a genocide enabling, multi mega corporation, but at what point do the companies kind of remaking these turn it, as a lot of Activision games are, like the platform kind of area, that actually it's just now Tony Hawk's, and it's out, and it is maybe seasonal, hopefully not, but it's like, cool, you own 1 and 2, you own 3 and 4. Here's now Underground remastered. Here's now Ride remastered.
Here's new levels.
Exactly.
Okay, you're making me secondhand like excited for genocide now, Ben, and I hate you for it. So.
Oh dear.
Oh no.
Yeah.
But it's
What
kind
the
of
fuck
that.
did you do, Ben?
It's that
What the
productization.
fuck did you
right?
do?
Not the thing is now, nothing is a product on its own. Everything is, and we see this with with the mistakes that Sony have made kind of through the year with the live service sort of side of the business. And everything cannot just be a singular product. Everything now is turning into a continuously monetized element, subscription services, all of these kinds of things. And if Lucy, if someone said to you, pay us £5 a month, and every month we're going to release like 3 or 4 new Tony Hawk's levels from the series, going, well, there's still like another 10 Tony Hawk's games that they on the shelf.
We don't need to go that
kind
far. Like literally, I'd pay 2 months worth for some thug and be out. So I would feel less about my contribution to genocide. So £10 is the answer then. So
fair. No, that's fair. Okay, cool. Good.
So a lot of those games are bad, and I didn't play them.
Yes, they are. Yeah. Absolutely. Nice.
Little Wayne DLC, however. We'll do that. Which one was that? Tony Hawk? Was that 5 or something? I can't remember. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Let's move on. I sort of want to almost stay in this space a little bit, because one game that I kind of really enjoyed, which you and I talked at length about, Lucy, was Wheel World. And it kind of it playing that and attempting to play Skate when it came out, Tony Hawk's coming out this year, it kind of has me itching a little bit for something like a Dave Mirra Freestyle BMX remaster. And actually, I'm sort of stuck in this sort of space where I really enjoyed Wheel World, and I liked kind of how arcadey it was, but still, tight controls, even though it was sort of an arcade kind of game. And that versus that sort of want for something like Skate, which is Skate's never been sort of realistic, but at least it's the control scheme wise is trying to get you to do things a little bit more dynamically on the analog sticks to kind of replicate what is kind of going on in that sort of space. And I think I'm really stuck between that want for more sim and the ease of arcade ultimately. And I don't
have you ever
know.
played those Lonely Mountain downhill
No,
games
I haven't.
or whatever? That might be what you're looking for.
Mm.
Because that's meant to be like, a nice flow state kind of game, but like have decent like controls where it's like, okay, we're not gliding as we are in like Wheel World, but it's got some challenge and physics and gravity to it. So check those out. I think a new one. I don't know if that is with bikes as well. Maybe it's like snowboarding or something like that. But I think they've made a few of those games. There's definitely one that's biking. So yeah, maybe check that out.
Maybe that's what I need, like just like trials, like slightly
I've only
arcade
heard good
trials
things
biking or
about
something like that. Yeah.
those games, the Lonely Mountain ones.
Nice.
But I think I
Ooh.
might have even played one briefly,
Oh.
but not to an extent where I'd be like getting into like the controls and like how it feels and stuff like that. Yeah, check those out.
No, absolutely. Is it? And so this is sort of the conundrum as well, isn't it? It's the arcadey side of something like Wheel World versus the slightly bigger budget ability of places to get a bit more sim and get that a little bit closer. The sort of the sim experience maybe takes that a little bit longer to refine. I'm not saying that Wheel World didn't take a long time to refine how those controls work and how the feel of that game is, because it's very, very good. The feel of that game is sort of the best thing about it, I think. But it's feels like that's kind of that middle. What I want is that middle space, the double A space, which doesn't really exist that much anymore. But these kind of extreme sports games within that middle ground almost. So you're kind of again on the snowboarding side, you're more like 1080 snowboarding rather than your cool boarders. You're kind of you're trying to find that little bit where you feel like this feels good and there is a level of technicality to it almost that you can kind of you don't need to necessarily master, but people what's the game that came out a few years ago that was really fucking good, that was arcadey but had a technical roller drome.
Oh yeah.
That's the experience that I want. Something like roller drome is exactly the experience that I want. Where it's tight, the controls are really good, but it just flows so amazingly well, and I kind of want that from a BMX game, ultimately.
Yeah, Lonely Mountains down here. It came out in 2019, but it still has a demo that you can try.
Ooh.
And on sale, the Steam sale that ends 5th of January, it's $3.99. So.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So.
Okay. I've already spent like
the demo.
I've already spent like £20. All of £20 in the Steam sale. I'm pretty sure I can probably.
What do you,
I haven't
Gen
checked
Z?
it out yet.
That's a quarter of your year's spending, sir. Yeah, my game of choice, honestly, is probably just Steam.exe. I've probably spent more time winning discount game that I don't open than any other application.
Yeah.
God, that's sad. Oh, impulse buying, thy name is ADHD.
You're not the only one, and I don't even have the ADHD excuse. I'm just greedy.
Yeah.
I think I was going to say it's kind of it's almost a game in and of itself. isn't it? Like going on and looking at the wish list and kind of checking out prices and going, oh, this is down to here. Now I'll check if it's the lowest price that it's been. And having all of the
Oh, yeah.
plugins on the browsers
Yeah.
and
And
stuff as well.
SteamDB,
Yeah.
Yes,
CD
essential.
keys, which is now not called CD keys, which
Yeah,
fucking
it's
threw
called
me off.
something weird. Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
They
it's called
changed their name
like
sometime this year, or maybe
Ronald
last year.
McDonald keys or something. It's something weird that is just like very
Alicia
different.
Keys.
It's loaded.com, so you weren't wrong. I think that's basically the same thing. What the
Yeah. Hmm.
Nice.
Exactly.
Good.
See, I probably have keys. 'Cause I think this is one of the platforms that there were bundle sites that used to give you like
Mhm.
they're all over on CD keys. And then you're like, well, I'm not gonna use like these up or I already have this game. I probably have, I mean, 45p of games. Let's be honest. I'm pretty sure I have like 15 or 20 games keys somewhere like across the verse that I never don't know what to do about and should be still legal. I'm gonna put them on Blue Sky.
No, absolutely. Like you go back on Humble, although that's a very
Oh, like a
different-
bunch of my
that's a very
Humble. So
different
when I left the Humble Bundle Monthly or whatever the fuck that was called,
Yeah.
I had a bunch of keys that like of games I wasn't immediately interested in, or I already had a copy of because they do like one or two newish indie games and some old darlings. And I'm like, well, I already impulse bought those fucking games, guys. Yeah, I should look at that because that's some
They're lost in the ether.
not actual money on the table, according to companies, because otherwise, accounting and tax purposes would change.
No, absolutely.
Also, not an asset, just a potential license to a thing.
A license to a thing, exactly. You have the ability,
which
to
apparently
play the thing
isn't an
whilst they
asset.
let you. No.
Yeah.
Adil, anything you want to jump in with further?
But I did the whole thingy in the middle. Oh, it's my turn again, isn't it?
Well, we can count that as your turn if you want it.
I thought. I was planning on that. We ranted. But that's okay. I can. Gen Z gaming changing. There was another thing. Oh, we kind of touched on the like. I'll wait until I think we'll probably round out with what we're thinking about in the future. I'll wait for that for a bit.
Okay.
Honestly, the only game that I played really for more than, well, according to Steam, at all, but was the Game of the Year 2023, I think it was. Not my Game of the Year, but the Game of the Year. Baldur's Gate 3.
Yes, which you haven't
I
had an
finally
opportunity to
started
talk
that.
about yet. Yeah.
Yeah, I finally started that, and I think the week I had first started it was like I'm like 2 hours in. I don't want to bring it up, and then time passed, and I didn't really go back to it. It's fun. I'm not super far into it. I'm not gonna say anything you can't have heard otherwise. I will say the intro was very. Video games love giving you a theatrical opening because they feel like they have to show and not, or tell and not show the surroundings and stuff. Like, because, well, let's be honest, people probably do need a big hook to get them to understand the world because they won't stay if you have to figure out the nuances of the world. And it's also like so the first like hour is very much like you're on rail. Well, a couple hours. You're on rails. There's a lot of
This sounds like
cutscenes.
hell. This sounds like hell to me.
Yeah, and so that's why I didn't want to talk about it after those first couple hours.
Yeah.
But then the world opens up, and obviously there is a plot, but it is an RPG, and like it's based on D&D in a very, again, you've heard this before probably, fantastic way. In most of these games, your roles are hidden, right? The engine does the rolls, and you just do the thing. Here, it literally pops up and has an animation of the D20, and you know your stats, and you're like, cool, I passed. And there's a couple skills that allow you to like fudge the die in certain ways, just like in D&D. And I found that really charming. And I think it has to do with Larian's polish. But mostly once I started getting into the game and like choosing to like talk to these companions, not these ones, take this piece of advice or do what Adil loves doing, fuck off to the left because why not? Let's see what the game does. It's like, oh, this is a really well designed world. There's enough intrigue to make you want to follow one of the many branching critical paths. You can just fuck around. There, there are ways of making like there's things you can click on the UI that will show all the thing because like you could go up to a bush and pick flowers and gather stuff for various and sundry things like spells or sales or whatever. And if you flip a thing on the UI, all those things show up. But
Hmm.
there are also skeletons, which if you loot them, give you stuff, and those don't show up on the UI.
Oh.
And I think that's a really good showing of the balance. These are secrets, right?
Like
They're one
natural
of those things.
resources that you kind of maybe have some knowledge of, which you can kind of, at least you could potentially say it in that sort of way. The character has a knowledge of, and they can see that, so they know it's something they can get. Whereas the skeleton is just skeleton.
Yeah, and like I've only found a few, and like they're hard to spot. But you can spot them, and they all basically have the same mesh, so they'll look the same. So you can train. You can like, oh, I should look to see if there's any skeletons, and I'm sure there's like a couple other things that do the same thing. And I like that because if I think it's why I brought it up because I think it's a really cool, a really clear way of showing how well thought out the game was because these things can be like really busted stuff. And hopped over. These things can be really busted stuff, and they're supposed to be secrets. And the quality of life edition being, hey, I don't want to have to click on all the fucking things.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it's like, yeah, you can pick that flower. That guy dropped loot. That's there. It's a little line. A classic, like, here, this thing. It's a thing. You can pick it. But to have the secrets, which are not things you need, and their design purpose is for you to either be that guy who just like combs everything around and finds all of them, or you bump into a couple of them because that your path got you, and you're like, oh, what's that? Oh shit, yeah, a thing. And then you might find the fifth skeleton that you bumped into, and now you'll start looking for him, not knowing that you missed four, right? And that feels very D&D, right? Where it's like, oh, I'll just put like the DM's just like, if they roll like investigate the right way, I'll tell them, oh, there's a skeleton, and even then they might not loot it, right? Like, because that's what's great about D&D. You can't tell how much is flavor background and how much is dynamic stuff. And I mean, in real D&D, the DM can on the fly be like, fuck it, I'll give them a thing, right? And obviously this isn't the thing, but I think that like that's such a, I think, just mechanically thinking about a D&D game, but also thinking about what they're trying to make real in a way that makes it feel organic. And I think the other thing is like having so much of it be a conversation engine, which isn't fucking pick the good thing or the bad thing. There's only good thing and bad thing. And we clearly grew up in a Christian nation because we're telling you a Christian nation in fucking late stage capitalism, that's the good thing. Like, is it the good thing? Right? Here there isn't to worry about that because these are just choices, and so much of the impact of the choices aren't you get more powerful. Now you have lightning bolts instead of solar bolts or whatever these fucking games do. It's like, oh, you picked that thing. You didn't support this guy asking for help and who was affiliated with the dwarves. Your dwarf companion kind of thinks you're a cunt now, right? It, like, isn't pleased with you. And like, it's that idea of, oh, right, so what makes decision making in the real world matter? What makes decision making interesting in storytelling is between characters. We're going to give you, you're going to slowly grow your roster of people you can have as your regular party or swap in or out. But ultimately, obviously, you're going to have decisions that are like world changing, right? Because if I slight this person and then 2 acts later, it turns out that I have to go to their hideout, and now they've said kill that guy on sight. I'm gonna have a hard time. But most of the decision making really does feel like a well written story that's adapting, and I think that's I get why I got all the accolades. I don't have as much interest yet, we'll say, of romancing any particular companion. I know that was a big thing. People like, oh, who are you gonna hook up with? I'm like, these are fine characters. I hope I'm currently running a rogue monk multi-class build because of course I am. And I like hanging out with Karlach whatever, the fucking vampire, because we can start fights with us both stealthing and fucking people up. And I'm sure at some level that will be less good. But double roguing is a very Aadil type of party. Cool. Well, the tank will come later.
Yeah,
we'll get hit a bit, and then the tank will come and mop it up, and we've got a healer to fix us.
I think I like the idea that the game, and at least the interactions and your decisions, as we've talked about for years, wanting, have consequence. It shapes the story, it shapes relationships, it moves you forward. It's what games like Mass Effect have tried to do, and there's the meter. Do they like you or don't they like you? And wherever that you fall on that kind of, this is, you get one of two endings sort of thing with said character. And it's the nuance that you get with that. It's not just I've got one ending or the second ending. It's the interaction continuously throughout the story and how they respond to you and how they build a relationship with you or don't build a relationship with you. And then, the consequence of actually, I'm going to leave your party, if that's a thing that does happen, because again, I've not played it either, but they're going, actually, I think you're a total cunt. I'm off. I'm not going to play with you anymore. And they just disappear.
One thing that, exactly. And, or they're just aren't as helpful. And what I like about
lounging
it is
against a rock during a fight, you crack on, you twat.
Oh, I wish that was the case. If you take them there, you control them, right? If they're in your four. But there's interesting things, right, where your party needs a face, and that might not be you, because the person to do the negotiating needs to have high charisma.
Sure.
Otherwise, you'll pay more at shops. You'll not persuade people of shit, and you can persuade people in different ways, which will have knock-on effects. And these actually are like you can charm people, or you can threaten them. Those are both persuasion checks of sorts, right? And if you don't run yourself as a high CHR build, boy, should you not be the character walking into these things.
Yeah,
but luckily you always have your whole party. But it is weird. We're that's the person I made, because I immediately started making a person, obviously, and it was a gnome rogue called No More, because I wanted to call back to my first WoW character. But he's not particularly high charisma, and it's oh right, I played this, but actually I'm playing the whole party, and so little things like that make you think of the party as your party, which I get why people get attached to who are my four, right?
Yeah.
Versus a lot of these games, you're just in the FF games, for example, your party is it's Cloud, probably Aerith until you find out, Tifa, maybe Barrett, was it right?
Red, mate.
But right. But in the beginning of the game, you quickly go to Cloud and his ladies because they're the most powerful set, and then they take away one of them, and you're like, oh, good God, that sucks. And then you start, and it's a good way to tag you into, maybe I should what if this happens again? I should make sure everyone's at a decent level, which is actually a really good game design thing outside of a heartbreaking scene. But in this, you kind of congest. I mean, I don't know how often you lose characters, but again, because when you go back to camp, you have an opportunity to talk to your party, and who you talk to and what you say influences your relationship with them. And that's where all the romancing and stuff happens. Not just, oh, I like that you saved the gnomes. It's oh, we've been consistently chatting and you gave me this thing right before bedtime over and over, right? It's I'm sure they call it bedtime. And it's oh yeah, this is again the depth is what these other games that we were sort of wishing was lacking, and it's like a lot of the game is it's the core of the game,
Yeah.
and that's actually why outside of maybe the what did I call it, non-aesthetic boner inducing on the beauty standards versions of Divinity, like I'm very curious because that world is much darker in the Divinity trailer, and I'm like, oh, if they have this much thought and there's that much interaction between people, because the story does feel like cult takeover world, then thing go bad, right? Like the creepiness of the child cheering as the guy's being burned alive in a Wicker Man. Also, the Wicker Man is like a classic movie, so an homage to
Not
the
the
Wicker
bees. Not
Man is
the
always
bees.
like get me. OG Wicker Man, I do like better than the Bees, but the Bees is a great scene.
I mean, yes, I think that's the universal opinion.
I will say, just to round it out, what you can't co-run, say, like you have at least when you first play it. I don't know if it changes when you beat the game, because they've got like a honor run. So basically, once you beat the game, it unlocks a difficulty level, and you can only do that after you beat it. And some people try to do solo honor runs, all this garbage, right? But all I know is my urge to like roll multiple characters to try different builds was completely stymied by the fact that you have one save game, and I think I'm sure there's ways of like make a separate account, blah blah blah. But I don't want to make a single Larian account, and there isn't a way I can do things. Apparently you can, but I'm like, you know what? It was enough of friction for me not to do the thing of replaying that first couple hours, which I thought were meh,
Fair.
or like were narratively interesting, but gameplay did not give me what the next like 7 hours did. I would have redone those hours a bunch because it's like, ooh, what I want a druid character, blah blah blah. But one of the other things that's cool is, so long as you don't lose someone, you are always in control of the party. You level them, and as soon as I realized that, my urge to like try different builds, do the dumb optimizing thing lessened, because it's like, oh, well, I've got this sorcerer I'm leveling. As long as that guy stays in my party, I can try this dumb sorcery build. Oh shit, my party is going to be a bunch of jank builds Adil wanted to try, and level 6, none of them will work because they only work higher level, because that's what jank builds are. Great, we'll have a great time. I'll see how many times I wipe. And that's actually really great, because you have that, like, you can start as a prototypical character. I started as a rando. That's no more. But now I can, like, dabble, and if I want, maybe less so in the extreme version idiot build that I've thought about. But I can I can play different. I can try different classes because I'm always got them with me because they're part of my group. Because I'm not actually just playing one character, and I think that's probably the thing I want to leave this with. I think it's cool because you are playing a party.
Yeah, that's nice. Yeah, good.
And your dynamics in the party really matter, and I think that's what makes it feel more D&D than any other D&D game I've played.
Good.
Because the best D&D campaigns, whether you listen to them or have had the opportunity to play with them, are ones where you've got this gelled team and, like, in my opinion, nonsense pervades, but at least like actual character development happens, and a lot of that happens through not just the characters going through the world and solving their problems, but how they work together, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And that it feels very much like that's what the heart of that game was aimed for, and that's why I really like it. And like this break, I will probably play more of it. Outside of some of these games that I'm going to mention that are shorter later, that I'm excited to try. Because Game of the Year came out, and I got to just hear what people liked and thought
nice.
more people should play.
Cool.
But that's me rambling about
come to
Baldur's
that.
Gate.
We will come to that shortly. I think just as a quick comment from me, I think that's almost always what Baldur's Gate was. Right? It was Baldur's Gate 1 and 2, years and years and years and years ago. Not necessarily the consequence and the relationship building to the same extent that Baldur's Gate 3 has had, but there was always a little bit of impact from characters. They would get annoyed with you. They would, and that was very early in sort of gaming, even in sort of CRPGs.
It's one of the reasons I like Baldur's
Gate. There is a bit of impact on that. And we always remember Minsk and the hamster always being annoyed at you because you'd slighted them slightly.
I think you mean Boo.
Yes, Boo. Thank you. Yes, nice.
Do you know why I know that?
Is he back?
Lucy,
Is he in
guess
3?
the reason why I know it.
Is he in 3?
No, it's because Minsky Boo is a fucking terror in Magic the Gathering. It's a fucking really strong planeswalker.
We've come back. We've come full circle, some would say.
You thought I wouldn't mention it.
Let's open. I saw Lucy with a bottle opener in her hand. Let's open another beer.
Yeah, my brain has. This is how you know I love you two, because I just sat through God knows how much of Baldur's Gate D&D talk. My brain left me like Homer Simpson in the cidery. My body just didn't collapse onto my. Yeah.
Would you
Yes.
ever
No.
play a tabletop, like a 2-hour session with friends of
It would be a struggle, man. It would be a struggle.
Right, Lucy, what are you opening?
So the answer's still no. Yeah, I popped up because I realised that. Thank God.
Yeah.
This had a seal on it, so I had to go get a knife to get it. And unfortunately, that means I missed some of the. Unfortunately, missed some of the Baldur's Gate.
Man, I should run you both through Lasers and Feelings. Lasers and Feelings is a 1-page RPG that's meant for one shot.
Nice.
And you just roll lasers or feelings, and it's really fun to play. And it takes you don't need a very experienced DM, and you don't need to know much, but you just get into some dumb shit, because you know what RPGs are? Communal storytelling.
Amazing. Nice.
AKA doing dumb shit with your friends.
Yep.
Anyway.
Again, a struggle. I'm drinking a Bofi barley wine from Earth.
Welcome to Earth.
Let's have a look.
The Boothy.
Is that how you say?
Boothy. B-O-O-T-H-Y?
Just B-O-T-H-Y.
Oh. May still be Boothy.
Bofi barley wine is dedicated to Bofi Vineyard, the land on which we're grateful to brew.
Okay.
And the people who helped us make it. Aged for 24 months. I think it's probably 36 at this point. It's a malty dark beer nuanced by smooth notes of roasted granary loaf, dates, fresh cherries, bitter dark cacao, and maple. Not too sweet and not too dry. Pairs well with sticky toffee pudding, chilled tiramisu, or shared on its own, or with good friends by a campfire. With good friends, just not by a campfire.
Nice.
Yeah, Bofi Vineyard is in Oxfordshire.
Okay.
Where Earth Ale are.
So the thing I was thinking of, which is a single O, B-O-T-H-Y, but I've always heard pronounced as Boothy. It's basically like a shepherd's, not a hut, but a building, like a basic shelter. Ultimately.
Oh, that's where I've heard that.
Yeah.
I think I've read it on one of the trails, and wandering the coast.
Yeah.
Well, there's more. Being a malt forward style, we brewed a wort using the finest barley from a selection of artisan maltsters. During the second fermentation, we pitched barrel oak chips and Brettanomyces to reflect the historical character of the style. As a nod to Bofi, we blended in 5% Regent wine made from grapes we picked from their 2022 harvest and fermented on their skins, lending the beer subtle undertones of black currants. To finish, we added 3.5 kg of raw Exmoor wildflower honey to naturally condition and round out the beer.
Nice.
So a lot going on. It's 8.4%, 375 ml bottle.
Perfect. Get it cracked.
Nice.
Aadil, what are you going to next?
I've got, would you believe, so not a DIPA, but a IPA. A double dry hopped IPA. That's right. I'm going down a gear because I misread the labels. It's fine.
We wouldn't have got the trifecta, would we, earlier?
Oh, no, actually, now I remember why. It's because this is Cloudwater's USA Fresh Hop Edition Citra and Crush Double Dry Hopped IPA, 6.5%, and I'll be damned if I let America go before Canada. Okay. 6.5% double dry hopped IPA. By flash freezing and concentrating aromatic oils from hops fresh from the field, Yakima Chief hops have locked in a new and unexpected flavors from lots grown at BT Loftus Ranch Hops. Bring to mind the differences between the vibrancy of a raw tomato versus sun-dried, or even grilled tomatoes, and you'll tune into new notes from fresh hop flavor and aroma. Preserving delicate flavors usually lost to conventional preparation and processing, fresh hops offer you brand new experiences of varietals you know well. Hops usually go through kilning, storage in compressed bales, and then pelletization before we got to brew with them. Combination processes that often sees us gain access to sometimes crops from the following January onwards. I'm not even sure I understand that last paragraph. Hops usually go through kilning and then pelletization before we get to brew with them. By flash. This is sorry. I love you, Cloudwater. Your copy editor needed to take in a second pass because I believe what they're saying is part of the flash freezing, etc., means it didn't go through kilning and pelletization.
Right. Okay.
And thus,
that
instead
normally
of
would
getting
happen.
access to September's crops the following January, they got it earlier.
Right.
This is the type of critical thinking that using AI won't let you have anymore.
That's a large accusation, sir.
Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, 6.5% citron crush, fresh hops. Apparently, multiple types of tomatoes. I'm not sure my palate's going to be able to go grilled tomato versus raw versus sun dried. This is interesting. Yeah. So you can see why I picked these two.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I'm then going to I'm going to stay across the pond. I'm drinking a Sierra Nevada, and this is the Narwhal Imperial Stout 2025 edition. It is 10.2%, and it's got a little bit of flavor text. Inspired by the mysterious creature that dwells in the deepest Arctic seas, Narwhal Imperial Stout is midnight black and bold with notes of baker's cacao and dark roasted coffee. This massive Imperial Stout is incredibly complex and explores the darkest depths of malt flavour. That's all I get. It doesn't tell me anything more except don't drink it if you're pregnant. There you go.
And advice.
Oh, looks like a fun bottle. Actually, can you hold that? I want to take a. I'll Google it. I realize that it's just dark enough that narwhals are one of my favorite type of animal. Oh, that's very good. Thank you. I saw it.
Good. Lucy, we'll round back around. Around. We'll come back to you.
Yeah, like nice deep flavor. Well, aroma on this, like dates, cherries, like maybe even a bit of cinnamon, just like nutmeg, crisp. It smells like Christmas. But also getting like a bit of like prickliness from like it must be that Brettanomyces, like a bit of sourness. You can smell it. But it's probably coming up as just probably solid black color. Maybe if I get a bit closer, it starts off dark near the bottom, but yes, it's very much that kind of like muddy.
Yeah, a little brown towards the top.
Yeah,
it
looks really nice. And yeah, just like a really nice head that's just staying there. Looks like it would have some nice lacing as well. But yeah, it smells and looks great.
I like that it's sustained its head as well.
Yeah, yeah, really adds to the overall aesthetic of it. That's, I was gonna say, not as deep in flavor, but it's probably when you think of a barley wine, you have those kind of like very layered complexity of like different flavors overlapping onto each other. Potentially this doesn't have that, but I'm wondering if it's more just like the lower alcohol content, because, and that's not a bad thing, because things like triples and barley wine, sometimes they can be a bit too much just because of the alcohol strength, and sometimes like that they have a lot of complexity and they have a lot of like richness, whereas this, it's a bit more pared back.
Okay.
but in a really nice way. You are picking up on like the grapes and like the tannins. You are getting like a bit of bitterness from them, but you're also getting quite a lot of juice and fruitiness as well at the same time. Where it's like it balances out like some of those like more maltier like chocolate and dark roasted malts, and I'd say it's more on the fruity and light side, but it still has that undercurrent of like those roasted flavors and those oak chips. Not quite like a black IPA because it's much more complex than that, I feel, but sort of that like we're doing both things. We're having like those fruitier flavors of like a mixed fermentation, just like sour or saison, let's say, but also we are still getting those nice roasted, dark, almost stouty flavors that just bring it together at the end without being too rich or overpowering like I feel some barley wines are. It's very nice.
Nice.
It's if you're wanting like a big bold barley wine, I wouldn't go for this.
Okay.
But it's doing something different, which I like. It's very good. And
nice.
Since it's 8.4%, it'll probably gone very quickly. It's one of those where it's like a barley wine. You're sitting on that for hours.
I could, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, they tend to be strength forward, so you like nurse them. Like,
well, they've got that kind of like fortified almost element to them, haven't they? You feel, you know that it's got that booze in it almost.
Yeah. Whereas this, it's got like all those flavors just slightly pared back, but you're getting those like, the red currants of red fruits, the dark red fruits, and the chocolatey maltiness of it, but you're on top of that, you're getting like a very light. Oh, here are some like some juicy, like not, I wouldn't call it citrusy, kind of a fruit, like maybe even pushing into stone fruit kind of flavors, where it's like, oh, we're bringing some levity and lightness into this into these flavors, which would be just very rich and overpowering. It's like, no, we're gonna pare those back slightly, not by lessening like the kind of impact of the flavors, but just balancing them with other lighter elements. It's really good.
Nice.
This will be gone in no time.
Good.
Because it's only $3.75.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Well, let's move on quickly then, so you don't have to feel like it's just disappearing that.
Oh, I have another beer.
Oh, good.
Oh shit, I definitely don't.
The Cloudwater.
Yeah.
Damn it, dropped it. So I think even with the white balance sheet, so you can see that it poured probably the similar amount of head. It is lighter. It is less opaque. And it has just a rim of head still on. Yep, head. Definitely tucked my nose in like a noob. Is that a thing kids say these days? Noobs? They're all noobs. They don't get it. Noob Cybot. Now that's the noob. Oh wow! I have I mentioned love you guys because you are of the right realm for my very random brain references.
Absolutely.
Good old Mortal Kombat.
This has almost the exact opposite nose of the other one, in that it's so light and delicate. It is lightly floral, touch fruity, nothing strong, definitely no dank. And I'm annoyed that I read too much on the tin because I do smell a bit of tomato, and I have no idea if that's because that's how brains work. You read 3 types of tomatoes. Can you figure it out? And you're like, I smell it. I smell tomato. I'm doing good job, right? But there was something like, tomatoey, which I think I wouldn't have been able to quite figure what it was because it's just like almost like tomato skin. Like it's just like that slightly sweet. I don't know. Like if I didn't have tomato in my brain, I don't think I would have smelt it. It's a strong smell. I just don't think I would get that freshness. I'd be like some sort of fresh fruit, but like not a fruit that you ever talk about in beer. Anyway.
Yeah. It's when you realise Noob Sidebot was just Boone and Tobias backwards, and it's like, why didn't I see that for
Yep.
like years?
I
One
was
of those.
today years old.
But also, wasn't it
Really?
I fucking had no idea. That's oh no.
Yeah.
That's really funny.
Like
It's just
Neversoft.
dumb names.
Yeah, like realizing Neversoft was like the opposite of always hard.
Yes, that
Yeah.
that I got. That's
Yeah.
on the 10. Fucking Noob Saibot. Are you kidding me? I
Mhm.
just thought it was a dumb name.
No.
Which is probably why my brain reached for it, because it's like, what's a nonsense thing? Turns out not a nonsense thing.
No.
Oh, well, that's the
I
last
seem
time
to
my
have-
brain's going to give me Noob Saibot,
didn't-
because it turns out it's a straightforward
In
thing.
the early games, wasn't Noob Saibot basically just a reskin of like Smoke, and Smoke was a reskin of the green one? Reptile. Thank you. Yes.
Who's just the green version of Scorpion. And
Yes, yeah.
Sub-Zero.
And Sub-Zero, yeah.
It turns out that game has 3 designs.
Don't you dare.
I'm so annoyed. I literally typed up Noob Saibot just so I could look at the letters, and I'm so annoyed. Boone I'm okay with, but
Mhm.
Tobias is right there.
Yeah.
Ah!
We
Are you
moved.
Don't worry,
kidding
it
me?
took me several years. Yes. Mhm.
I have no. Oh, I was tasting a beer. Sorry, I got very sidetracked by a fact about my own sidetrack that made me feel shame. Welcome to Tanked Up. I will say, so it is very fresh tasting. Like I'm getting these like, fresh vegetal things, like not in the actual taste, but like if you've ever like shucked corn and then cooked corn and you still have that aroma around, you're like, oh shit, this is fresh corn. It tastes fresh. Everything's fresh around me, right? Which is different from just having been given as fresh corn that hasn't been shucked in the same area. That's what I'm going for. Not the corn, but like the sort of freshness package, which was my stage name for a number of years. So
We went
here
tomatoes,
I'm
corn, just where have we
it's
gone?
even better because Gen Z just used corn for something else.
Yeah.
The corn emoji, right? I'm like, you know, you can. I was gonna say, you can just say porn, but they probably can't because everything you do is on monitored and censored social media.
They'll get demonetized.
Yeah, these fuckers don't get monetized.
Even though they're all on OnlyFans anyway. So
they're not though. They're all using OnlyFans and $84 a year on Fortnite or Roblox. Anyway, yeah, it's just got this really zippy, fresh vibe. But again, it's not a zippy taste. Like it's not like I'm getting like, it's not like I'm having like I've lost. What are the sweet limes called? Or lemons? Anyway, that like when you. Sorry, I'm not getting a zippy flavor in the sense of the taste is zippy. It's like the whole background. I will confess, I'm not getting grilled tomatoes. I'm getting a bit of raw tomatoes, but I think it's that vegetal like juiciness. That's what it is. It's wet. It's a wetness, like in the sense of like I've got these vegetable-y hop notes, but they're raw and it's not wet as in watered down. It's wet as in like not fully ripe, like or fresh, which is super interesting. And now I want more.
Was it? Didn't you say it was like I can't remember what you said about the freezing like or
Yeah, so
like basically like
Yakima Chief hops,
fresh hops or something.
Flash freezed, and then they concentrated the aromatic oils from the hops,
right,
fresh from the field.
So it is like that kind of like
the hops, concentrated the oils, and potentially didn't kiln, compress, and pelletize.
Yes, the things
That
they
I'm
portion
should
was
have,
guessing
but
it's some. I'm
didn't
guessing it's
do.
something similar to like that. Like we have like just fresh hops, and you
Yeah,
just
like
like
super
it's
green.
no. Yeah,
Oh yeah,
super green, and
Mm.
you have that kind of like very. Yes, it is a very vegetal like kind of
yeah,
yeah
vegetal and the like freshly cut grass,
yeah
but not
kind of
like
taste to it.
manicured lawn cut grass, but like
No,
I
it's a
haven't been
different
doing
process.
anything to my yard for years. It's just that stuff, and then I cut it, right? It's that wildness. And so,
Hmm.
yeah, let me actually, if you don't mind, I'm going to reread a chunk of the flavor text just because I think it'll. So it's by flash freezing and concentrating aromatic oils from hops fresh from the field. Yakima Chief hops have locked in new unexpected flavors from lots grown at BT Loftus Ranch. It brings to mind blah, 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 blah. Hops usually go through kilning, storage, and compressed bales, and then pelletization before we get to brew them. A combination of processes that often sees us gain access September's crops from the following January onwards. So
Yeah,
I
it,
believe what's happening is BT Loftus Ranch has these like fresh hops, like every they're just hops, right? They're not magic, but the process they're doing is they're flash freezing, um, and then concentrating the oils in the field
Mm.
when they are the freshest, so they've
yeah.
ripened or whatever you call hops when they hopify. Um, uh, so that
Yes,
raw,
fresh from
the
the
freshness of being in the field
fine.
gets
Yeah,
caught,
yeah.
right?
Farm
And
fresh.
then instead of by the time it gets to them, they have been dried so they can be shipped. That's the kilning, right? And then to be shipped, they're compressed bales, and I assume put into pellets is pelletization.
Mm.
Though it was the
Hmm.
first time I believe I've seen that word. But yes, right. In which case you're getting the dried, compressed, then pelleted, which means it's put in a bale, chunked into bale shape, moved across the ocean or whatever, and then it's chunked into pellets, which is actually I kind of want to look more into the general
Mm.
process now because if it was pelleted before, I'm super curious whether it would have more of a well rounder taste or profile
Yeah, is it
because
pelleted and bagged and shipped versus
yeah,
baled? Then
exactly, right.
yeah.
I see why, especially in traditional shipping being how you
Smaller
like
space. Yeah.
norms,
Mm-hmm.
you would kiln compress. Sorry, you'd kiln bale essentially, a kiln bale, then deal with it, right? But if you pelleted sooner, knowing like this is not like a beer I've ever really tasted. Like I said, it's just got this wetness, this freshness that's really wild. Not wild, but just caught in the wild, in the contained. I don't know how to describe the difference. Wild's the wrong marker. Um, yeah, this is really good and really interesting. And actually, given that this is available in the UK, I would say try and track it down. It's a
Mm.
very good beer, and I just actually think if you like, just don't just pour the beer and drink it, but like think, have I ever tasted
Yeah.
something like this before? Because I don't think I
I'd,
have.
I'd, I'd be very interested because I've
And
had a few beers that have just been like, yeah, around that like August, September, maybe even October, kind of time where it's like they've been wet hopped with like fresh hops. It's a
yeah,
very distinctive, very hard to replicate kind of like
and
freshness and liveliness and flavor. So yeah, that would be interesting to
yeah.
try.
What I will say is this could be 3%. I wouldn't have a fucking clue because
Mm.
the thing that's actually completely not there at all is bitter.
Okay.
This is like
Because yeah, that's
so
interesting because
light
the
and juicy.
bitterness is
Sorry, wet.
very yeah like that's why even when you like wet helping beers they still need the time to mature because yes
Yeah,
that bitterness straight away is like it's not like just oh we've notched up the IBUs it's a
yeah.
very more it's not acrid but it's like
Mm-hmm.
very in your face and
I was about
then
to say in
yeah
your face. Yeah,
yeah so to capture that and still let it go through the aging process but you still
yeah. I
getting that
mean,
like kind of wet hop kind of taste that's interesting.
I will say I did have an 8% dipper before this, so maybe your mileage may vary. Though apparently the mileage was 2 meters, presumably. But like, yeah, I think what's super interesting is that it like it has IPA markers, but everything is like not. where you would think it, and there's this lovely vegetal layer that again isn't like, I really don't want to say freshly cut grass or like corn shucked, because those are very strong flavors, and when we encounter them in beers, they're like, ugh. I mean the like the like the freshness, the wetness.
Yeah, it's
None
like
of
if
the
you
strong
actually
flavors.
rub
I'm
like
not trying to invoke those,
yeah.
right? I'm just trying to invoke the like, this just happenedness, and those are where I'm reaching. But I feel like all the beers that I've had, or even drinks that I've had, that like draw me towards those analogs, they're all like really strong and intense in a way. This is light and delicate, and that's why I don't want to say freshly cut. Like, that's why I keep, every time I use one of these analogies, I'm like, no, but not what I'm saying. This other thing that I'm trying to say. Don't listen to the words I'm saying. Understand what's going
Understand
on in
the
my
nuance.
brain.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, this is how I teach. It's the same thing. This
Nice.
is why all
It's
my
like if
students
you
do
actually
well
get
on
a
the
hop
first
and
one.
you rub it, and it's like, yes, this is just a
Yes,
very
actually, yeah.
fresh flavor. But if
Yeah.
you were to eat it there and then, it would just be a very like
Mm.
kind of
Blech.
jarring experience.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Anyway, so
which
great beer.
Good. And to sort of flow into the Sierra Nevada, this kind of has a little bit of what you're talking about in terms of almost the opposite effect, where you can feel the alcohol because you're getting that level of bitterness kind of at the end. There is that flow of flavor in this and that level of bitterness. But what I find really interesting in this is, I know it said it was chocolate and coffee, which a lot of stouts obviously invoke. It's maybe the main flavors that kind of go. But this is, it's not chocolate and coffee. It's like chocolate cake and coffee cake mixed together, rather than chocolate and flavors of chocolate and flavors of coffee. There is a.
Is it like Caribbean chocolate cake?
I mean, it's probably not quite sweet. Maybe this is actually like a reasonable. It's quite bitter. It's very
like a
dark
Guinness
chocolate.
cake.
It's more like not maybe as smooth, a little bit more tinny, perhaps. But you're getting a nice level of really dark chocolate, but with that kind of slightly spongy sort of flavor to it as well. It's like a slight sweetness that comes with it. And then the coffee kind of kicks in, and that rolls through, and it's more like a cold coffee or like a coffee cake. Get a sponge sort of coffee flavored sort of cake. Remove a little bit of the walnut and that slightly sweet sort of icing that you get on like a coffee cake, and it's almost exactly like that. It's like the bare bones coffee cake and a bare bones like chocolate cake smashed together at like 10.5%, which absolutely hits you. Like that percentage, this has that alcohol level to it, because that bitterness kicks in. It's still like bitter, but that little level of sweetness sat on top. And it's not maybe that alcohol kind of sweetness, but there's definitely something that is just pulling me to be like, yeah, this is that little bit bigger. And I could take a big swig and think, whoa, that's too much. I'm sipping this and thinking that's just the right amount, because otherwise it would feel a little bit too sickly. Because of those kinds of, that very bitter sort of flavor, that little kind of cold element to it. And the way that flavor flows is it's very strong, and it definitely screams big beer, and I love it so much. I think that like almost pared back kind of level of flavor, it's not doing too much. I've not got vanilla notes in here, I've not got other sort of fruit notes in here. It's like chocolate cake, coffee cake, bam, and then it just leans into this bitterness. I'm like, cool, I'm here for like the simplicity of this beer. Almost the Adroit Theory beer. There was a simplicity to kind of be like, here's some tropical flavors, here's some citrus flavors, there you go. That's what we're giving you. We're doing it very well. Here it is. And this absolutely hits completely. It's a shame. It's absolutely a shame that it's in such a small bottle, but it's not being 10% really.
Yeah. because if it was leaned into that sweetness, that size bottle would probably be enough. But given that it's counteracted by that bitterness, and it just harmonizes so well.
It does. It smells so sweet as well. When you smell it, you absolutely get like a lot of the chocolate coming through, more of the chocolate coming through, and a sweet chocolate as well. That's more the sort of I suppose the cake kind of sweetness that I'm getting in the flavor as well. And
because I was just gonna say, because like a lot of beers now that are like, I call this the Vault City effect, where they're like, oh, we're gonna have like pecan pie, peanut butter, marshmallow, this and that, and it's like, even though Vault City sometimes they nail those flavors and make it taste like the real thing, a lot of the time when that is your directive, when that's your mandate, there's no way that you can undershoot that sweetness. It's always going to end up sweet, and for me, often too sweet. And I'd probably say Vault City are very good at sometimes paring that back and making it a bit bitter, but it just seems like everyone's been brought into that swell where it's like, let's put 100 ingredients on the can and let's make it, we'll throw all this and that in, like natural ingredients as well, and then it always ends up too sweet. As I say, even though I feel that Vault City started this, they seem to be one of the few breweries who know how to still get that balance. So, but yeah, we are just going into that. Like, let's just throw everything in here and not actually think about the balance. We're just making this for like, we're making the Lucky Charms of beer, and it's like, I loved Lucky Charms as a kid. I still like them as an adult, to be fair, but I don't need that overwhelming sweetness. There's a reason these were taken off.
Children weren't allowed them anymore.
Yes, there's a reason.
Do Lucky Charms not exist here?
No,
haven't for like 25 years.
What?
Yeah.
I mean, I never really liked them even as a child. I just didn't. Sorry, I don't think I've seen them. I don't think I ever would have thought, should I have seen them? But I didn't think that they were banned. I just didn't think about them.
Because they were too sweet. Which is a shame, because they are the best cereal.
No.
They turn your milk green.
Yeah, but so my problem with the Lucky Charms always was like the consistency of the color being turned was totally dependent on the marshmallows that happened to fall in, but also I didn't. Oh God, this is so stupid.
It was always green. It was green like maybe Ben's top, like that kind of like
this grayish. Yeah, but if you just got enough fucking horseshoes, it would be like Ben's face. But so it turns out growing up, I actually didn't like wet food. So I ate most of my cereal dry. Again, I will emphasize my neurodivergence not being detected until I was 38 or 42, depending on which neurodivergence you want to deal with. Totally reasonable, right?
I mean, interestingly, we're having this with Indy at the moment, where she will not eat wet cereal. She wants to eat.
Gross.
She
it
wants
gets
to eat,
soggy and gross, and the
Cocoa
texture's
Pops.
awful.
She likes the crispness of the Cocoa Pops.
Man.
Yeah.
So it's just like cool. Eat the food.
You lot are just distracted doing other things. You gotta eat cereal. Like,
no. So what I will say though,
like frosted shreddies are disgusting when they've disintegrated, but if you eat them when they're just right, when they're
but that's exactly the point little me had.
They've steeped enough time.
I would leave a bowl of Weetabix for like half an hour and then be like, cool, I'm ready.
You're the other end of the spectrum.
No, weirdly,
like
Weetabix has a no. I'm actually on both your sides because my parents, as they like had spent some time here, even though we were in Canada, we had Weetabix. And Weetabix was one of the first cereals I would have with milk. Cereals, whatever, the breakfast melange. God, I should work for their advertising. That like put them up 2 income brackets. Weetabix breakfast lounge. It's the most middle class thing I've ever fucking said. So because it's density, it retains the crunch even if it's soaked for a while.
Mhm.
So my problem with Lucky Charms, which I now realize you guys haven't had in a million years, is dry. You figure out how fucking awful those marshmallows were, and if you eat it dry, you have no interest in the marshmallows, which I argue it defeats the purpose of fucking Lucky Charms. They are dried up,
It's still
stale,
tasty.
hard,
And they're
awful
great.
tasting things.
They're wonderful.
I'm sure when you fucking reconstitute them with milk,
Yeah,
the
they're a
breast
bit
milk
better,
of
yeah,
another
yeah.
mammal, yeah, sure, you can make all kinds of things taste weird.
Okay, I'm moving this on now.
Yeah,
Now
it's a
that
good
we're
idea.
talking about
It's a good idea.
milk and memories, yeah.
Hey,
We've talked about all our beers. Let's
This is
talk
not
about some
divinity
drinks.
conversation.
Yes.
so
Thank
anyway,
you.
why was I bringing up what was the cereal we were talking about? I don't
Lucky
remember.
Charms.
Good.
I don't know how we got here.
Let's.
No, I was trying to
don't
figure
know.
out what
I
kind
don't
of
know.
stuff we
But
tried.
we've probably got enough
Sweetness
time.
in stouts, yeah. Sweetness
Yes,
in stouts.
sweetness and stouts. We've got enough time for a topic each. I think maybe Lucy, we sort of missed you off the last round, so maybe there's time for you to do a couple. But Lucy, we will launch back in with you about something else that you'd like to bring up from this year.
Yeah. I'll finish out on my favorite game of the year.
Oh,
it
nice.
won't be that long, but I'll just briefly mention an actual good Metroidvania that I played this year that I really liked. No, it's not Hollow Knight 6. I did enjoy what I played of Silksong, but a good
long.
video game.
So fucking big.
I liked that. I didn't like the difficulty.
Fair.
What
was
I
made
liked
for people
was
who really liked the other one and just wanted to keep going.
I did.
after they finished the other one, right?
I absolutely did like the other one, but the other one was like child's play to me. Also, I am not that old where my skills are leaving me. It is just too hard and too difficult. And I am older, not in the fact that my skills have dulled. I just have less patience.
Yeah, you have different priorities, right?
Very much so. And one of those was because I was like, I want to finish this game before I get to Hollow Knight because I'm gonna like Hollow Knight so much. It's gonna retroactively make me less fond of the game that I played. Yeah, but it actually made me more appreciative of it, and that is the sequel to Ender Lilies.
Oh,
yeah,
nice.
Ender Magnolia. And I always want to call it Steel Magnolia. Ender Magnolia, Bloom in the Mist.
Yes, a nonsense title if there ever was.
Yeah, absolute nonsense. It's some anime stuff. So to be expected. It's the territory.
So this is right. We have to get Lucy into anime via Metroidvania. That's the only way.
Only way.
To be fair, I didn't actually realize this, but the OG game wasn't just Ender Lilies, right? It was
some other
Quietus of the Nights. Yeah. I forgot that entirely. Sure. I played that game and I did not remember it had fucking anime subtitle number 4.
Because you're not a Metroidvania fan.
I didn't finish the game. I played it a bit. Episode. I liked it. I just didn't persevere because it's just not one of the genres that I click with, which is weird because I like exploration and I think maybe it's because I like breaking games and they're so good Metroidvanias are so well designed. It's like you can't do this until you do that, and it's like there's a branching critical path you have to do, right? And some of it's loopy and whatever, but it's like you can't do this until you do this. And I love open world because if I do some nonsense, I might get into trouble. And Metroidvanias are designed to not let you get into that specific type of trouble because they're well designed and you can't get there until you do this other thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
I 100% agree from like a layman's term that yes, they are like very structured in that sense, but there's a reason why like Metroidvanias are like the most popular category on like GDQ and stuff like that, because of sequence breaking and because opening up that kind of
Yeah. What you're saying is I'm not hardcore enough for my tendencies.
it's same as me, like something like Metroid Dread, like you can absolutely, which is a very linear game in terms of like Metroid standards, you can absolutely sequence break that game if you're good enough at it, and if you get like a frame perfect kind of like
Right.
skill done. So it's like, yes, I completely agree with you. On the surface it is just like, yeah, these are not open in the way that something like, yes, a open world game would be, but once you do have that skill level to sequence break these games, they are just like massively open. But yeah, shout out to like GDQ, and GDQ starting like the first week of January, which is always like the pick me up I need after like okay, we're in January, we're in the doldrums now. That's starting in like 2 weeks time. But anyway, yeah, end of Magnolia, quietus of the steel trees, or whatever it's called. Yeah, it's, I don't know what the story of these games are. Adil, you were talking about like a long exposition heavy start to Baldur's Gate
Yeah.
3. I hate that crap. Like there was that game Nine Souls, which is like a Metroidvania. I couldn't skip the cutscenes of this weird panda cat creature being like sacrificed to some techno biblical lord. I was just like, oh my god, I just want to play the game. And by the time I played the game, I was like, oh, this is hard. I've already lost interest because of the story, and now this is hard. So screw this game, uninstalled. End of it is you can skip through every cutscene, which I did because it was like the first game I actually like watched all the cutscenes. I was like, this is interesting. And the cutscenes in the second game will probably be interesting kind of story. But I was just like, I just want to get back to the action because it's so good. That moment to moment gameplay, it's so good. And it's not as good as Prince of Persia that came last year, but in terms of like having all those quality of life aspects, potentially being in like early access helped it. And I think the first game had just like very good like quality of life aspects anyway. It felt like a game that was built by people who like Metroidvanias for people who like Metroidvanias. It's like, okay, transport to anywhere you want in the map. The map's going to be detailed. It's going to be easy to 100% it, which I think I've 100%ed both games at this point. The bosses were challenging without being too punishing. I felt that this was a bit easier than the first game, but still decent level of difficulty. Exploration, like new abilities. I think this one was probably pared down in like the different aspects of the combat, because you're essentially like this little anime girl and you have these like familiars and you have these like kind of ghosts actually fighting and doing the actions for you. And I think there was a bit more customization on like, I think every like enemy you felled in the first game, you could then have their like spirit as one of your kind of things
Was it
to
linked
fight
to save
amongst you.
games? Or was it just like you could have bumped into this guy in the first game? Also, that's cool no matter what.
Yeah, I think some of them were like optional and some were like main kind of characters, but anything that like you defeat, it's sort of like some of the like Castlevania games on like DS and stuff like that, where it's like I can then have this creature's familiar or whatever and use use their abilities and have that as like one of my set like kind of like combat styles. Whereas this one, I think it limited it to like 6 characters, so it's very it feels like a game that took away many aspects of the first game, but it still didn't feel
Like
that
in a
way.
good
It was
way somehow?
no, but it still ended up still
Oh.
being of similar quality, which is strange. It's like I feel,
That's
whereas Hollow Knight, it feels like, I feel like I had much more customization with like the charm system and like the everything in Hollow Knight. The first game felt a bit more customizable, whereas in Silksong, it's like you're either doing this build, that build, or the other build, and you're tied to them. Whereas Hollow Knight with the charm system, it felt like I could mix and match and just be like, okay, I want to go with this kind of different perk and stuff like that. It wasn't just completely branching like it feels like in
right.
Silksong, and you're basically locked into one of them, and you have to change your entire play style to assume another one.
Yeah.
Whereas
Right.
with the charm system in the first game, it feels like, oh, for this boss I can just switch this and this in and out, and for the other boss I can switch this in and out. I don't have to completely, change my complete style, even down to the platforming with like Silksong. But End of Lilies, it feels like, okay, you're narrowing in this and you like focusing a bit more, and it actually feels like you're taking away some of like the customization of the first game, but it doesn't feel like it does that in a bad way. It's kind of crazy how they've managed to do that.
Interesting.
Yeah.
That's like legit super interesting.
Yeah, and I think
Like,
it's just
because that's a like very fine needle to thread.
absolutely. It could have been like, oh, this just feels worse and less customizable and less like I have less freedom of gameplay, but it doesn't. But I think
Somehow
that speaks
doesn't.
to like, yeah, it's somehow, because I was like, I don't miss the fact that I can't just have any like all these ranges of like different like familiars that I could do, because I think even in the first game, it's like you find your build, which ones you like, and still go with that anyway. Whereas this one, you are upgrading, instead of changing out different builds, you are upgrading what you have out of the smaller selection. But I think that speaks to like the gameplay itself, like just those core mechanics of how good it feels. So you don't actually feel like it was lacking. But yeah, really good game, solid sequel. It came out in early access. I think it might even come out last year in early access, but I think the full release was like the start of this year or something. But yeah, it's just like, this is made by people who like the genre.
Yeah, nice.
Like Prince of Persia, and yeah, it's fantastic. So
good.
Shout out to them.
To then echo, I suppose, your sentiment, and maybe to shout out my game of the year, more so because of how it made me feel. And I love the game, and I won't talk at length about it because I have talked at length about it. But I played Lost Records, a game which tried to invoke a sentiment. A game which tried to give you a sort of a feeling, something like Wanderstop, which also again was trying to invoke a feeling, the idea of not having to finish things and being okay with those kinds of things. There's several games that I played this year which have tried to invoke a feeling within me. And actually, I think fucking Death Stranding 2 is the game that I felt the most fucking connected to in the whole fucking year. Just literally because of Child. Literally because it fucking kills a fucking child. And it doesn't kill my child. Doesn't it?
Yeah, but that's storytelling, right?
Absolutely.
Norman Reedus kills a baby.
No, Norman Reedus, it's very sad that a baby dies.
You're gonna have to rewind here for someone who doesn't know.
Yeah, I was gonna say I knew there was baby.
So you start off Death Stranding 2.
Wasn't baby the whole point of 1?
B2.
So Death Stranding 2, you start off with Lou, the name that they've given to the baby.
The baby. Okay. Yeah.
Right, the baby
in the tank. Is it still in the tank?
In the tank. No, so Lou is not in the tank when you start Death Stranding 2.
Oh, wait, do you lose the
It's
baby?
birth.
And within the first hour, maybe 2,
You lose them.
you lose the baby.
That's a bad dad.
So there's
In a
2
world
of
that it
them,
was
'cause
like, we don't
one
need
Lewis
women and
loses-
everything like that, and to lose the baby, it's just like, here we go.
And I
Okay,
was fucking heartbroken. Like I'm like,
Yeah.
fuck you. Absolutely fuck this game. Fuck this game completely. No. And then you get the baby back. And I'm like, okay.
What,
Okay,
with
cool.
ribs? How many ribs?
Well,
How many baby back ribs?
so
Baby
there's
got back ribs.
there's a ton of storytelling. There's a ton of a
We
level
should start
of
shitting over Ben's favorite.
I like how he was persevering, and I was like laughing silently. I'm like, okay, it's fine. And then just like, no.
This,
Sorry.
Anyone
you know, this
watching
comes with
sees
the
us both.
character.
Yes, no,
I
absolutely,
wasn't
absolutely.
fully tuned out in the sense that I was laughing, but listening. But boy, does it look like I'm not listening.
How dare you?
We love your passion, Ben, but
Dude.
you know this comes
So-
with the nature
No,
of this game.
completely.
Yeah.
Completely,
Oh, yeah.
absolutely.
The
But there's a
game
level.
and our podcast. Let's be clear.
Yes, yeah, very much. Yeah, there's a level of investment, right? In those early
Oh,
hours,
it's investment baby. It's
investment baby.
like
Yes,
Boss Baby 2.0.
Donald Trump's fucking Wunderkid.
Oh no, nope, we've lost it. No.
So from the
you know,
first
Here's
game,
the
I
baby.
just have to
Yes.
pause and say I got Spotify's creator wrap up video, and I because we list on Spotify, I'm the listed account, and I will tell you that we rose 999% of listens, which I think is just because we hit a wall and they don't have 3 digits, because 999 seems really strange. We have listeners in we grew this year on Spotify. Hey Spotify, we've paid no attention to you. Sorry. But I will say, also our Spotify listeners, because it says your listeners also watched, and one of the top 5 things that they also listen to is Joe Rogan. So I kind of don't care.
That's bullshit.
Yeah.
That's
Sorry, that's why I
bots.
interrupted, because I just
Bots.
wanted to share this
Pure
tidbit,
bots.
which is our Spotify listeners apparently listen to bad, dumb shit by idiots.
Everything wrong.
Absurd.
Anyway, so expect that number to drop. If you are one of those listeners, Joe Rogan, there are plenty of podcasts with information along the same lines of what Joe Rogan
better researched.
pretends to do, that doesn't feed a right-wing media and a huge amount of bias and fucking red and black pill or whatever fucking pills men think they have to take not to turn into women, because that's bad too, but to
Apparently
turn
it's
into
crystal
real men.
meth now. Yeah, so
Well, I think
Wait, are
that's
they
the
back
thing.
on meth?
No,
Yeah.
I agree. I think if there are men that are really afraid that they're going to turn into women because of the cultural wars that are going on, crystal meth is the way to go.
or just a gun.
Yeah, the best pill is the bullet in your face. Ooh,
Yeah.
that's dark. I've had a couple beers.
And it brings us back to Death Stranding too.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was doing. I was
Lost
referring
baby.
to the
Yes,
dead
yes.
baby who apparently
Norman-
shot themselves, according to this
No.
narrative.
Norman Reedus shoots himself multiple times. Like
Oh, really?
after losing Lou, right? There's multiple scenes. There's time. There's
Wait,
grief
he just-
in this game. There is time to
So
kind
he's
of.
just bad at it?
No. Well, no, there's a mechanic that Norman Reedus is an expatriate, so he can't die, which is why the whole idea that you can
Oh, so
regenerate.
he's not really
there's a
doing it. He knows, and he's just he's just an
And
angsty
and he's just
dude.
very, very upset. Yes.
He's just
But
acting out. He's like, I can't die. from this.
There's kind of it's interesting because in Death Stranding 2, even though it's oddly written, it's all over the place, and I love my Japanese jank and absurd fucking games,
Not
and it
just
has that level.
Japanese
Of it.
jank.
But there-
Pacific Japanese
there's-
man's jank.
there's a level of like grieving in this. There is connection in this, and which is what the game is about, right? Death Stranding and Death Stranding 2, they're about kind of connection in a weird sort of way, but it does pull that through in kind of every element in this game, and it really I was so invested in Norman Reedus and his and all of the things that, not Norman Reedus, but the character and all of the things that were kind of happening around that, and the seeing that story out and being like, cool, the baby can't die. I have to understand how we get back to the point where I get the baby back, and you kind of feel like you got to that point, and then they take it away from you again, and there's all sorts of highs and lows within sort of Death Stranding 2, but
It's the baby MacGuffin.
Sort of.
It sounds like
but
baby MacGuffin.
not because it kind of does build into the later story. I'm not going to spoil it necessarily. Neither of you will play it, but potential listeners may.
Yeah, no, don't
Joe
worry.
Rogan's
I
fans
wasn't trying to
may play Death Stranding 2 at some point.
So it's more than, I guess what I was trying to say, it's more than a baby and Switch, which is what we call the latest Mario Kart. I don't know. But like, yeah, it's doing this heartstring thing, but it's not doing surface level. There's at least some depth to it.
Absolutely.
Is what I was trying to hint at with the like, oh, they're just doing this, and you're saying no. It might have been purposeful to make you feel that way, especially if you are in the target demographic, which I think you are, which is
definitely
a PlayStation 4 owner who has owned all the previous PlayStations. Like, I think that's what this game is.
And has child.
Yeah, that's like a
Kojima.
If you've done that, you probably are, roughly speaking, right? If you have the 1, 2, 3, 4, and you have the 5, you probably have a kid. Yeah. You might not see them every week, but
that is the biggest indictment on Kojima game fans I have ever heard. Holy Christ! Wow, you eviscerated all of them. I was going to start talking about, I think there's something to his narratives, maybe, that I just don't see, but damn.
No, I was leaving tomorrow, but
You're
I
just
can't
like,
now.
absolutely not.
I didn't say everyone. We all know you aren't that demographic. I just said maybe that demographic exists.
And that demographic definitely does exist.
To quote Twitter, I'm just putting out the ideas out there, man.
Wow.
I mean, it definitely. I mean, this is if God of War was like angry dad, Death Stranding is sad dad, right? Death Stranding absolutely speaks to those.
Sad dad hasn't gone to therapy, so just instead.
That's exactly
right.
Drags
a whole Japanese
That's exactly right, Lucy.
No Sony franchise has therapy dad. It's all dad who hasn't gone to therapy games.
But in a sense where it's just like, yeah, you're right. Actually, they're all the same. The Last of Us,
they're like Mad Dad, Sad Dad. None of them are dealing with their feelings.
We're gonna make you
or
crunch.
Talking to the people in their lives.
We're gonna
they're
make
like
you crunch
punching
instead
things
of
or running away.
Yeah.
Are you Sean? Sorry, are you sure? Sean, for foreboding this, that some characters have not gone to therapy, like Ethan from Heavy Rain, just continuously screaming for his son around the shopping centre. Sean!
I thought it was Jason. What's his name?
It's both. It's both. He loses both of his children.
Yeah. Oh God, yeah, he does, doesn't he? He's a bad dad. Don't care how many fingers he cut off. He's a bad dad. Yeah.
That's a very odd sentence because it seems to imply that there is a right number of fingers to have cut off to become a good dad.
As I sit
and he
here,
just hasn't got there.
Continuously,
at least 4.
This is all I have, and I just type like this.
Yeah.
The baby. There are feelings in Death Stranding. Yeah, there. I need to understand, because I've never played a Kojima game and felt things.
Uh-huh.
And I'm wondering. I genuinely want to know, like.
I think it's
because his stories are so disjointed.
Yes.
I'm wondering how you actually be like, is it the motion capture? Is it like Norman Reedus as an actor? Is it like we have enough themes, so despite them being disjointed, there is some kind of like pathos to the character, and it's like you actually see Kojima's thoughts and feelings despite them being all over the place. I can at least empathize with Kojima as a person or Norman Reedus as a character. I'm genuinely trying to understand.
So I don't think necessarily Kojima as a person, but I think at least the character
Yeah.
as a person, and at least the
Yeah.
character that Kojima has written, and obviously there will be other people that have written parts of this, but the character as a person, you feel their emotion, you feel their angst, you feel their pain, you get that, and some of that comes through the acting, some of that comes through the writing. As a product, it's very, very well produced. And from all of those inputs that kind of come in from voice acting to the motion capture to the direction and the writing to the way that the scenes are set, the sort of the cinematography as such of the sort of the game and things like that. Like it's a very, very well made, and and Kojima has the title of auteur for a reason, because he does. You would imagine he and his team painstakingly think about a lot of these things. And I think that is much more, it's the culmination of all this stuff. Like if you had that story with a different set of characters, it wouldn't hit as hard. If you had those characters with a slightly different story, it wouldn't hit as hard. Like it's at least for me, the combination of all of those things that just hit really, really well.
Yeah, I can understand that.
Again, target audience. I enjoyed the first game. Something progressing that story after the emotional hit, because again, the first game, you're invested, but you're not that emotionally invested until like the last hour of kind of the game, and thinking, actually, maybe I was emotionally invested in the last several hours of this game, and now is the culmination of that. So to start the second game already thinking, yes, I know this, and I want to experience more.
Yeah.
To then get like the gut punch and get those hits and be like, fuck, this is absolutely brutal. To try and get to and push through to wanting to understand a resolution to this and stuff. You're just invested the entire time. And it's, I played that game for maybe like 50, 60 hours. And I was invested the entire time through that game.
I was going to say, that's kind of why I was asking, was because it felt like, it felt to me when you were playing DS1, sorry, I've just realized that if this goes to 8 sequels, there's going to be a Cisco game. Yes, 9. That's fine. Okay. But like it felt like it was doing something to you, but when you played it, you mostly talked about kind of the somewhat of the journey-esque cooperative stuff, but you were late to the game, and you kind of like had a pining for what it might have been like to be around when there was a bunch of people potentially being in your strand, because it was the first strand-based game, everyone, if in case you forgot. Weirdly, strand-based gaming not part of the CS2 marketing, but like you also like talked a lot about how like, at least at the time, if I recall correctly, it wasn't so much the plot and the attachment to the characters, so much of like it's a big area, and there's like, I like building these paths and I like retracking them, but part of it was just like, even if I didn't have that and I just had interesting environments and dumb deliveries to make, it was a bit delivery bot simulator with this persistent world, with this journey-esque thing, and there was a plot.
Yep.
And like, correct me if I'm wrong, but like the like insane plot elements where you had fights and stuff, you were like, that was a nice change of pace when I might have been getting bored with, or might have wanted to slow down. I wanted a change of pace, and the game gave me the change of pace, so I didn't have to go to another game. Hey, platform gaming, we're listening to you, right? Like, it didn't feel like you were attached to the plot such that you were grinding out the delivery phases to get to the weird fucking instances of. No, I guess there's weird black monsters in puddles or whatever.
Absolutely. And I think
and this feels exactly the opposite.
So
the way you're talking about this.
Yes, but also I think it's a lot to do with the pacing of the game, because it pushes you in certain directions, and again the writing is pushing you in directions. It makes you feel like you're progressing things. Like, Sam has to go over here. Cool, there's like 10 things in between here. So I can do all of those 10 things, and I can still feel like I'm progressing to that point. But I don't have to do those 10 things. I could just go from point A to point B. But actually I'm going to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 on the way. And I'm doing the legwork, and I'm connecting people. I'm doing that progression sort of level that there isn't the insistence or the want to have to get to point B instantly to progress the story. Like, it expands it enough that you kind of feel like I can take some time to go and do this here. I can see why I would do this because it benefits this over here. And all of this builds up to that kind of point. And I think with 2, that almost in a way, the early sort of death kind of frees you from that insistence. So yes, you want to, and I wanted to get to the end of the game to think, how do I get back to that point? How do I recover Lou? There's got to be a way that I move through this game and actually Lou exists in another plane or a different space, or is taken by somebody, or is it in another way? And I'm going to get to that, and I understand that. But actually, it is still the journey, as with the first game. It is still the journey pushing you through those elements to get you to that next point. And it is very well constructed. It is a really meticulously built game. It is big in terms of a world area. It's not bigger than, it's not the biggest world area kind of, they've not gone, cool, we're going to make Australia a 1-to-1 scale and make it as big as we possibly can. They're kind of quite well crafted how big they think these things should be. You need to go from point A to point B, and then there's point C and point D. So actually, we're going to make the scale this much to make sure that we're hitting the points on the journey. Your journey is X amount of time, but there will be hardship along the way, or it would be easy, but it's a little bit longer. Those kinds of things. So it's very well crafted as an experience, and I think both that and then the kind of the story dragging me, pulling me through, and the want to sort of see kind of how it happens. It's just made such a good experience, and I spent hours and hours and hours in that game this year.
Yeah, and there's always something to be said for, like, your participation actually playing a game is different to than just more of a passive experience. Like, okay, there's not going to be a film or something similar or a book that's going to emulate the goings on of Death Stranding, I'm sure, because no one's publishing that. But but still, it's just like, having that kind of like agency and like impact on a game can make the emotions a bit stronger. But I didn't know what your favorite game of the year was going to be. I should have just guessed.
You should have
Death Stranding
guessed.
too.
I mean,
it's just because it's just such a jarring experience to me. To It shouldn't be, but like, I've just never thought Kojima had anything emotional to say. Interesting, yes.
Yes. Yeah.
Emotional, no.
No,
And I think the way you described it, just the way you went through the world, the way how it is well presented, which he does present his games very well, and the way they're filmed and directed, it's different, it's interesting. That can absolutely have an emotional response, but
and it's,
can love truly bloom on a battlefield?
But I think it is the not necessarily evolution of Kojima games and Kojima himself, but yes, like Metal Gear, even things like Zone of the Enders, which he massively produced and stuff. Very interesting games that are like very gameplay heavy, right? And they invest you in that sort of way, and they do have interesting stories that kind of go in absurd directions.
But gameplay can absolutely have that emotional response.
It can have that emotional response.
This is the first time I've ever seen this. It's just amazing.
I think Death Stranding 2 is the first Kojima game that had an emotional response from the character portrayal and the story from me. Maybe an emotional response in previous, like Metal Gear 3. Sure. Great, fucking fantastic game. Yeah. But maybe not as invested in the story. Right? Yeah. Whereas Death Stranding 2...
More bees.
Is bees everywhere. Death Stranding 2 is absolutely like the story is such a big part of it, at least for me.
Yeah.
And how that hit, from those early stages all the way through. Really.
That gives me hope that he can do that in the. Well, I don't know how many more games he's got under his belt, but it's taken him 30, 40 years to get to this point. So good on him. Good on him.
But I think
it's like
But-
any comedy that you've seen, any comedy that you've hated, maybe, or something like that. Maybe there was one good moment of like actual comedy that you enjoyed, or one like really emotional, like not saccharine, but like sweet moment that you like. But it's like, hate that movie, but I like that part of it.
Yeah.
You
It's
know?
like
Maybe it's just many of those strung together.
absolutely. Like
and that's
you could watch however many series of Friends there are, but there's like
Are
2
you dissing
episodes that
Friends?
kind of like really hit you.
No, I cut him off. Friends is like one of the greatest shows ever made. So
Oh, we are on.
yeah, we're on different. We're on different
No,
levels.
I
cut you
attempted
both
to
off.
watch that.
You like
when
Baldur's Gate 3, so enough
I
out of you, sir.
I think so.
I know
will
I know
say,
how to cut deep, Lucy. It's alright.
Yeah, this is.
I know you hipsters
right
think
different.
Friends was never good, and just like
No. So
Yeah,
when
I
I
had
was
I had
young,
Friends
I was like
VHSs.
just the right age that I didn't see what the appeal was. I didn't
Here we
get it.
go.
I also have
My
Alexis
brain
find
wasn't
me it, and
developed, so I
have
like. Yeah, okay.
no. It's the exact opposite. I have a divorcement from my emotions, so I didn't get what people got out of it,
Mhm.
and I get kind of that. But the problem is, there's so much baggage with the writing of the time. So as someone who didn't understand it then, I think I come at that show
Friends?
much like Jen's. Yeah.
You were old enough.
No, but I have like neurodivergent. I'm saying I think
Okay.
potentially my I never understood why people liked it because they all seemed like assholes. Turns out they were all assholes, but in the time they were speaking emotively to people in a way that felt true and raw, or something such that you connected with them. I don't deny that because that's obviously what happened. I didn't have that, and I didn't understand it, so I didn't watch it, and I kind of felt frustrated when people watched it. When I go back, I feel more like Gen Z, and like if you talk about Friends on TikTok or whatever, people will like be like, "That show's bad." They're very homophobic in a lot of ways. Like a lot of the jokes are bad that way. That you can forgive, but like the writers painting Ross in any way but the biggest asshole manipulative friend is problematic, and I didn't see
I
that
don't
at the
know.
time. I'm
Sure.
not
He
saying I
is.
did, but
He
I didn't
is.
understand the appeal of the show then. So now when I try and watch it, I'm like, no, all of this is bad. He's like a scientist who, the very beginning, he has a wild animal, a tropical animal who's endangered
Marcel.
as a pet. Yeah. So bad. Like from the get. And
No,
he
but-
only gets worse. His best quality in the early years is he's got a fucking adorable monkey who he shouldn't have because it's not legal and it's a wild animal
weird.
and should be in a goddamn zoo.
This is weird because I thought everyone knew that Ross was like unhinged and not a good person.
No.
Watching that
I've talked to people about this. People
back in the day.
The whole we were
Maybe
on
it
a
was
break
different over
argument.
here. Yeah, everyone
Everyone
in
you knew.
my circle,
Yeah.
everyone sided with like Rachel, not Ross.
Oh.
Like his breakdown when it was like my sandwich, everyone was like, "Okay, this dude is not okay." Like the baby thing, everyone.
But the problem is
he was
he
never
didn't get
the
exiled
hero.
from sympathy. It was like he made this. He gets all the like patriarchal forgiveness because it's like he did that wrong, and no one at any point says no. There's no reason why he should have a relationship with anyone in any of the series after 2 because he's fucked up
That's
enough.
wild to me
Fuck
because
that guy.
everyone was like, "Yes, he's terrible." Like he will
No, but I'm telling you, in North America, people did not say that.
really.
There were people.
That's
people,
completely
I'm-
different over here. Ben,
so-
I don't know if how deeply entrenched you were with Friends.
So on a
but it
break
seemed like
argument,
everyone was like,
I heard like years later brought up in a bar and people talking about as if there was ever a question, because people are broken, and it's like even if you were on a break, sleeping someone within 2 hours
Yeah,
of
he
that
was the
break
bad
is
guy. He always
right. Like,
was.
yeah, but all people, but like people see rules as if they're black and white, and then read them. Anyway, we
Anecdotally,
are
it
getting
is a
sidetracked.
yes, we are. Anecdotally, it was a completely different Rachel is right in this country, or at least the people I
I'm
know.
glad Kojima has pulled us in this direction.
Yeah. What I will say is, if that's the case, why would you bother watching the later parts of the series where he
Because
gets
we all
some
knew
weird
he was
redemption arc?
unhinged.
Yeah. Okay. Then
Because
I
it was like
wish I knew you when you were young and watching Friends, because I think that would have
that's
made sense to me.
crazy.
Let's move on from
Oh no.
Friends.
It's genuinely crazy that was the sentiment in.
Hey, friends.
Let's move on
Hey,
from
friend.
Friends.
Other
North
friend
America.
is trying us to get to stop talking about Friends, which I have
Because
so
everyone
little.
knew he was
Mate,
unhinged.
we will do.
Sandwich.
Let's get together. Let's get together before the new
Fucking
year. Do a
no.
bonus Friends episode where we
That
just talk
actually-
about Friends.
But
Can
I
we
would have to
actually?
watch some.
Go and
No,
watch some episodes.
yeah.
I don't know how you even
It's
watch
awesome.
them. I don't. Can you see them anywhere? Is there a
on
way to
Netflix or
easily see them?
something? Probably Netflix or something. I love that show.
Let's
And I'll
pick
leave
some
it there.
episodes. Let's pick some episodes and do a
Because I
bonus
was
Friends
watching it with the right
episode.
frame of mind, obviously.
Yeah.
When I was 6,
we
and I
will-
knew this guy.
I know
is
you
not
want to wrap
okay.
up.
No, not wrap up. We will finish out. We
Oh.
have one more Aadil. We've got to come to you
Yeah.
for one more. So if there's anything else you want to sort of
And there was
finish
one
the
more game
year
I
off
wanted
I
to
just
talk
with.
about very
wanted to
briefly.
say. So,
My game of the year.
right, go on.
Well,
Which-
kind of.
Which one? No,
Go for
Lucy.
it.
I thought you said that Ender Magnolias was your game of the year.
Yeah.
No, but I will.
That was a precursor that we got sidetracked by.
Yeah.
Oh,
I'll be brief. I'll be brief.
Go
I
on,
just need.
go on, Lucy.
I'm also
Go on,
gonna be
do-
brief.
Oh,
J-
let
j-
Adil
jump
talk,
in there.
'cause I need
No,
to lose.
finish you, and then we'll.
I need to lose. So.
All right, go on then. Aadil.
Oh, I
Go
see.
on.
Oh, did
Another
you
one
want
of
to
those.
finish that on?
Lucy knows Adele's gonna talk, so she'll fucking leave the podcast. Second time in a row. It's not even gonna be bold. It's not even gonna be RPGs. But you'll never know.
Right.
Go pee.
Well, I'll be back in 2 seconds.
Is it card
if you want
related?
to give me that? Yeah. Oh dear. Bye.
You're good. Yeah. Oh, she even made it so that editing the fucking video sucks because she turned the video off, so we've all bounced and we might not be in frame. What I wanted to say was I thought we were gonna do like, what are we looking forward to do to play or whatever, or what has come to mind. And obviously I bought, when it hit a lower price, Claire Obscure Expedition 33
yeah,
because I love RPGs, and this was like, this is getting the same. To be honest, it's getting similar hype to fucking Baldur's Gate 3 did 2 years ago. I liked that. I'll buy this on sale, and then we won't get into it. But one of my news items for the past couple of weeks was stripped of the Indie Games Award because of use of AI, even though that use of AI was disclosed as part of the development process with a couple bits that got through that were patched out like 3-4 months ago. So the fact that they got I can't tell. So now I'm sidetracking my attempt to not sidetrack, but I can't tell if someone wanted to make this a bigger news item, because there is no way no one knew this was the case. For like Claire Obscura's AI use was well documented before they even started building the stage, right? And so the fact that they got the award, and then 5 days later someone's like, "Oh, you used AI? No award for you," feels weird. Either the award show was like really out of touch and just were strapped for making things happen, and that's not no worries if that's the case, but it just feels weird given how connected the world is, and how this was like a minor PR thing for that studio months and months ago, or this was like someone being like, "Oh, well, you're not telling us technically that you shouldn't be allowed because part of your signing up was saying you didn't do this, and you didn't say you didn't do this, so if you win, we get to strip you of it." Again, not trying to conspiracy theorist, but it was just like a really weird moment, because the fact was well known and documented in the press, and the stripping of the award was like, it came to pass that this happened, and that's super weird. And I don't know, like, in the world, it's just too complicated for me to Anyway, I bought
It's
Clair Obscur 33 because it seems like exactly my type of game. And it
we
was on sale, and a lot of people said it was very good in the ways I like game.
we have to be very careful. Like the same people who will scream and shout about like AI is taking creativity and artists' work, they will be the same people who decry studios like 33 Obscure or whatever it's called. I'm not sure how they used it, but it's like games have been using AI for probably a decade now.
Absolutely.
There are tools that it's just like help development. There's a
Development tools.
clear demarcation between okay, we're getting a creation tool where it's like, oh, it fills in the grass in I don't know, Horizon Zero Dawn, so where it doesn't look patchy here. Between Call of Duty, whichever one came out this year, Black Ops 7, 6, 7, 8, or whatever, were
6, 7.
literally
Just say 6, 7. The kids
six,
love it.
yeah, 6, 7, where we're taking Studio Ghibli, AI.
Not even just anime-esque name prize plates that don't match anything. So
for the skins and or the calling
prizes.
cards or whatever they're like, where it's just like
whatever.
clear,
right.
stealing of people's art.
Oh, it's not even stealing
but
art.
it's
It's
just
just like bad design.
And it does my head in that we cannot. I mean, around the whole AI space where there's no regulation or anything else, but we cannot just be like blanket AI is bad. We can't be.
Yeah.
Because, yes, a lot of the things we're pointing to, yes, AI is probably on the whole bad. It's not black and white. And we can't be.
No, because
I don't care about 33 Obscure. I don't even know how they used it, but it's just like to do something after the fact and just like probably not do it on a even educated stance. It's just ridiculous, and it's like the same people who call for AI regulation and say we need to start actually policing these companies who use it are the same people who will then go and then also not do their own policing, their own due diligence or anything like that, and it pisses me off. And it's just like you can't be pointing the finger where you're doing the same thing.
I believe the guy who I resemble most at Christmas compared to the three of us says if you can't those who are sin-free can't cast the first stone. Something like that. I don't fucking know. I was raised Muslim. Yeah, you can tell I've got two dippers in me or whatever. So what I will just put
I enjoy you just making up scripture. It's very good. I like it.
That sounds right.
It's close. Come on,
cast
man.
the first stone.
Those who are without sin cannot cast or can
Those
cast the
who
first
must
stone.
not
It's
do the
very
bad
close.
thing may do the bad thing.
No, I said
no, I know you. I know you didn't.
No. Anyway, so on Lucy's point, the
I'm
biggest
Protestant.
problem
We
is
made up a part of religion so we can do whatever the hell we want and sin. We're not Catholic, so I agree wholeheartedly.
So on Lucy's point, the biggest problem, I honestly think it's becoming the biggest problem with AI, and I mean this kind of sincerely, is the fact that it's a nebulous term that basically can be like stretched across any algorithmic technology, which is what anyone in the marketplace is trying to do, because they want to say we're using AI without actually doing a thing, when really essentially what the marketplace is trying to highlight is generative machine learning technology based on prior work.
Yes.
There's a whole fucking 17 podcast series I could do about the problems with that. But what Lucy's pointing out is a lot of the stuff is extensional from algorithmic generation without the bad training and political consequences of that, which has never been an issue, right? Like procedural generation. You know what that is? When I get my little PR wipe on it, it's fucking first gen AI, motherfucker. We've been doing that for years. Right? Because it's just an algorithm making a thing. How did it figure out to make the thing? I told it what to do.
Yes.
And so if it's not machine learning, it's not AI also isn't right. But the whole point is like none of this makes sense. And if you have problems with machine learning based technologies based on people's prior art that was copied without their consent in this post capitalist context where copyright is supposed to reign supreme and all the little guys are getting fucked by this, that's fine. That's orthogonal to if I have a tool that uses the same techniques that we don't know used all this bad stuff like this politically socially copyright legally problematic stuff, that's a different type of problem. And when we lump them all together as AI bad, we lose the nuance of yeah, you know what? I actually think we have a problem with overusing these technologies to generate things like digital assets or edit photos because they go to a norm. And what makes photos and graphics and the world interesting is there's this little fucking rock there you would never have planned. And that's just how the world is, right? Like, but that's so many steps away from where the discourse is like it doesn't matter. Like, yeah, I think there's a problem of homogenization if we all use AI tools too much in all the ways we could. We're not there right now. It's fine in the sense of some of these tools do not have problematic
Yeah.
capitalistic like they use the same code, but they haven't been trained on the problematic means. That doesn't mean we should tar them with the same
No,
brush, right?
exactly. Yeah, it's such a layered conversation, and I think it was you, Adil, like on one of our previous conversations, where it's like maybe we should have figured this out before unleashing it to the masses.
Yeah, it's almost
And
like
but it's here now. But just because they've been messy in their implementation of just unrolling it to everybody, it doesn't mean that we can just be messy and start choosing who and who is not absolved of it, and their use of it, because that's also messy and very selective, and that just brings extra, like, that will basically, like, shine a light on what we deem as acceptable. Because,
yeah.
like, with Larian, I don't know what they said recently about their use of AI, but it seems like the blowback was probably substantial, but maybe not as, you know, elevated as it would be for like another company because it's Larian. But it's like, are
Yeah,
they using the same practices as, like, say, a Call of Duty?
can I dip into that particular story? I know
Yeah,
we're like,
yeah, because
but
I'm not too aware
Larian
of it. Yeah,
admitted that they use generative AI in the initial planning stages of concept art, but then
right.
they hire concept artists to make the actual concept art that then conceptually fuels the game.
Yeah,
What I
that
think I've
seems
read a couple
okay to me. Just surface level,
right,
you saying that
yeah,
seems
but
okay.
But one of the
Not
things I
great,
read a really good
but okay.
article by a concept artist. Basically said like, look, guys, this is what we do,
Hmm.
right? They say generic ideas, then we like make shit,
And
and
that's a month's worth of process
yeah,
where
yeah.
it's like
And the
back and
thing is,
forth.
they
Yeah.
do it with not with algorithms, not with averages, but they're like, here's what you told me. I'm in the room and I'm listening to you and I'm reading the emotions that you are emphasizing with your description that are not necessarily on the page. And we get to a point where I give you some mock-ups and then we go back. And
Yeah.
then we get to the spirit of the game. That's what a concept artist is supposed to do. When you skip that extra step, you basically, if you've decided that's the way it goes, and then you ask a concept artist to like shine up the generated images, well, one, you're missing the heart of that
Yes.
conversation and that interplay and where like the heart of the aesthetic can come in, which I get some people won't care or whatever. But two, then you're handing to the concept artist exactly what AIs are very good at, which is here is a clear description of what I want, make this. When
Yeah.
actually you kind of want to be like, here's the sketch. This person's super busy. The middle step seems like the best one for AI, but also the one most people are uncomfortable with. But it's
Yeah.
the only one to me that makes sense, right? Which is I have this mock-up. Read this. Can you add detail to it? Because this person's busy. Because the heart is what I care about, and they've given it to me. And for whatever reason, we can't use them anymore. Oh, why is that? Because capitalism can't exploit that step because it requires a lot to be going wrong with your relationship with the person who figured that out, right? And so I think this is where where Larians said the right things, that they're using it early, but using it early isn't clearly good. Do I think it matters? Do I think it's stoppable? Sorry, do I think it matters? Yes. Do I think it's stoppable? Probably not. Do I think Larian won't employ concept artists roughly at the same degree? No. Do I think that this is not necessarily a good move just because people are being employed? Yes. I think there's like something happening where can we get away with this because we're a capitalist company? Is a proxy for what is this doing creatively, and is this intention with the creative hearts who can make this flourish? And that's a question I've not seen at all.
Yeah, I think there's probably another bonus episode to explore this, to be fair. Because again, this in and of itself is like a 2-hour conversation.
Yeah, because I remember reading something like, from like, I think it was The Last of Us Part 2, which is like one of the most detailed games that we've ever got.
Yeah.
And it was the process of going back to concept artists and then figuring out what the artists, the developers wanted. And it's like, that's a process that takes months.
Yeah.
And we're already in a place where it's like video game development takes months. But it should always be, is this going to help the work, expedite the process? Is it going to help the artist at the end of the day? Not should it replace the artist, because that will always be the part of the conversation where it's like, yes, AI is bad. We shouldn't be replacing artists. We shouldn't be replacing humans and emotions and getting, as you say, that sense of scene and stuff like that. But in that Last of Us 2 kind of thing, it was like they were trying to research, like, okay, we're having these skeletons, like, these effigies or whatever, just hung up, so it's like, don't come here or whatever. What does the decayed bone look like? And that makes me think of like Mortal Kombat that we were talking about earlier, like those developers having to see and having to sit through and look at, like, I don't know, like, autopsy photos to see if someone punched through a rib cage, what would that look like? Are we helping the artist by saying you have to go through that, or could we somehow implement AI in like expediting that process and
there's all kinds of ways where
that trauma?
Does
it, at the end of the day, does it help the artist? Does it help the human without literally taking away their job?
The biggest problem is where people want to cut corners is where humans are important and expensive. And it's in coding as well as in the arts. It's like, no, you can streamline things before this and things after this. If you don't want to make slop, you just make the human step more important. And there's a world where humans use these things regardless of where and how they got trained. I'm going to put that question to a side. Humans can use these tools to focus on those important things. But the way capitalism and these companies are also just claiming that they're aimed at is not going to do that. They want to replace the integral step. And the problem is they're also championing a technology which is bad at the preliminary steps. And it's all going to fall apart because they want it to be magic, and it ain't.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Full stop.
Yeah. Fair. That's probably a good place for us to finish. Then round out the year.
The game I want to play this year, my small segment, is Blueprints, because I didn't get around to it, and it sounds great.
My game that I
and Just Roger, the Roger game,
and Roger,
and Roger,
I'm not emotionally. I don't.
Those are the
two
games I wanted to bring up.
I don't want to play
like,
emotional games. I don't want to play.
Anyway,
don't want to play.
Go on, Lucy,
we don't
final-
need to talk about them. I just wanted to say these were the ones that like.
Fair-
Oh, I'm gonna
fair.
try and find these on sale. And buy them.
I've wanted to play And Roger, but I will. I say I'll do that one, and I'm emotionally
Right.
stable, so never.
Never.
But
Got to take the jump. Take the hit. Just get in.
Just
Lucy,
get
what was
ask
what was that?
Microsoft Copilot to play it for you.
Because
what,
I can't.
What was that final thought, Lucy?
I'm not gonna spoil And Roger for you, but I know what
Okay.
that game is
Mhm.
about, and it's like
And it's wrong.
no,
Yeah.
yeah. So no.
Well,
Why don't we play light-hearted games like ooh? I just wanted to say ooh. Umlaut ooh.
that was also on my list of potential games to mention, but we didn't have enough time.
It's like 2 hours, and it's
not to play it. We didn't have enough time to mention it.
Oh well, I'm mentioning it now. Screw you all. We had to listen to Baldur's Gate 3.
Took us nearly 3 hours to mention a game that's less than the runtime for us to mention that game.
Ben's been trying to wrap up. I cut my 5 games I wanted to play down to 1.5. But yeah, it's your turn. Go for it. So you want to play ooh?
Because it's fun to say.
Yeah.
Ooh. It's not. It's probably no better than his what's his name? Takahashi. His previous game, which was also gone out of my mind. So I'm gonna quickly. Nama Takahashi. His no, not Canton.
Just going.
Not his previous game, which is called
Elechead.
Yes, Elechead. Yes, it's basically just yeah. It's basically okay. We're gonna have a very small subset of like mechanics of what this little platforming character can do, and it's like okay, you know the basics. It gets into the game straight away, unlike Baldur's Gate 3. No exposition. Here you are. You swallow this little caterpillar swallowed by a bird. Try and get it out, and it's like these single screen puzzles, sort of like Elechead was. It's like here are some very basic mechanics, and it's like oh, okay, I know how to use this. I go through the first couple puzzles fine, and it's like oh, how do I get to there? I must need some more. This game must expand beyond its mechanics. There must be like some upgrades, like a typical Metroidvania, like a double jump or something like that. You're basically using your body, which is like 3 circles, hence the ooh, and like 2 of them are bombs, and you can like explode them and like launch off them and use their momentum. And it's like, oh, how do I get to this place? I must not have figured out. I must not have got an upgrade or whatever. But it's like, no, it's literally you just learning different ways in how to use these bombs and how to use the physics of it. And it's just such a excellently made, simple video game that just expands on like it reminds me of like Mario, where it's like when you play like Mario Maker, it's like oh, we're adding all these, different concepts into, how we've never seen them before, but it all works in the like kind of like physics and like what of Mario, and it's the way the world interacts. This does the same thing across like a 2-hour experience, and it's just
nice.
It's just such good video game design, where it's like distilled down to its simplest elements, but just like. Yeah, it just makes you feel very intelligent.
Roughly on my list because basically what you said, which was it's kind of a meld of what you guys like about Metroidvania and what I like about open worlds, because the game is like designed as a Metroidvania, but there's not actual gating. So if you figure a thing out, you might fucking sequence break. But like the game feeds you, from what I understand, like ways of you, like it prompts you to think about different ways you can use the same mechanic in bonkers ways that lets you do stuff. But nothing from the jump stops you from doing those immediately.
Absolutely.
You just haven't thought of them. So
it's like The Witness. You just haven't learned
of a Metroidvania, but not the gating, and like that sounds great to me.
Yeah.
As a person who
awesome.
probably will need to follow the plot to figure out those things, right? Like,
You have
just
to,
something
yeah, because you
about
just
that, like,
don't know.
freedom, and
Mhm.
yeah, it sounds great, and it
It's
also looks
acquired
real charming.
knowledge.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's cute as hell. It's like The Witness. It's like, yeah, the mechanics
I
are there,
say
like
woo
just
woo woo
sticking.
woo woo to that.
And that
Brilliant.
is a lovely place for us to finish this
Yes,
episode
it
and
is.
this
Like I read your
year
mind
out on.
half an hour ago.
And as we normally do with our end of year episodes, there's no outro. It's just a thank you from all of us for hanging out with us for the year, for listening, for watching, and for checking in and playing games, drinking beers, just hanging out.
Yeah.
And
Beer's great.
enjoying your
Game's
time.
great.
Absolutely. Beer's great, game's great.
Yeah.
Lucy's exactly right. And that's the good sentiment to finish. Thank you very much for joining us. We've been Tanked Up for 2025, and we will see you very soon. Goodbye.
Bye. Thank you again for another year.
Stop listening to Joe Rogan. Also, ciao.
And Ross sucks. We all know this.
www.outoflives.net